I want to die.
All right, who's in here right now? Rio, Kerps Nerd. I see all you guys come on over to the YouTube. What up, Gula? What up? What up? What up? We're waiting on Green Bodhi. I just saw him in the Instagram. Let me see. Hold on. Let me make sure. I started a couple minutes early just so we could be on time. Real as bitch. Let's go. Danny, Carl, what up? What up? Let me make sure Green Bodhi. I know he said 10 minutes, so it'll probably be another minute or two before he gets here. But what's up, everybody? I got the giveaway tool ready to go tonight. We'll probably use that. We did a bunch of giveaways last night. Hopefully everybody was in there. And he should be here in a second. So get all your questions together. We did just do a new drop with him. We'll talk about the new drop a little bit. So NL5 drop and a purple Larry OG purple unicorn drop. So once he gets in here, you guys will be welcome to ask any questions that you guys want. As long as you're in the YouTube. If you're in the Instagram, it's always going to be a little bit hard for me to see those questions unless I look down at the phone. Just know that. So Old World, Gorilla, Ganja, Loud, and Perps Nerd. If you guys want to hit the link in the bio, the link tree will take you right to the YouTube. Come subscribe, and you guys can ask all your questions. I mean, we'll be on Instagram, but it makes it a lot easier for me to be able to see your guys' questions. Jay Rose, what up? What up? Oh, that's you, Cali Sober? Damn, you got a whole bunch of different names, bro. Yeah, it just makes it easier, man. Here he is right here. All right, perfect. Right on time, right on time. Let's get him up here with me.
What's up, brother?
Blow the screen up a little bit. And there we go. What is up?
What's up, man? How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Let me get this out of here. Hold on. Let me turn this thing off.
Mic sound all right on my end?
You sound good. Yep.
Sick.
So yeah, make sure you guys on Instagram, like I said, there's a couple of you guys still over there. In order for you guys to ask questions, if you type them into the Instagram, I'm not going to see them on my screen. It's just the way that this platform is. We will see from Facebook, we'll see from YouTube, and we'll see from Twitch. So, if you guys have questions, you can put them up. I can throw them up on the screen. Makes it a lot easier. We could put a banner up there. Let's see. Okay, so there's the YouTube on the banner right there. You guys should all see it at the bottom of the screen scrolling now. I'll put the website up in a little bit, and I guess we could start to talk about. Let me see. That looks good. Oh, there we go. Comments are there. All right, cool. All right. I mean, the way that I could do it on this, as in where, obviously, I think, were you on here with me on this, or was it just Instagram? I think maybe we couldn't.
It might have been just Instagram because we're, I can't really remember, to be honest. I don't remember it being like this and this fluid.
Yeah, this just works a lot better. So, and we could be on multiple platforms at the same time. And then, when this ends, it'll automatically go to YouTube. So it'll always be on without me having to download splice stuff or anything. The whole thing will be on YouTube. And yeah, they've been doing well. So
nice.
What time? So, okay. Welcome, everybody. If you guys don't know who this is, I'm going to let him introduce himself real quick. And then we'll get to your guys' questions. We'll talk a little bit about the, what we just put on the site. I know I think you have about an hour. That's about it. I know you are trying to get out of where trying to leave. I appreciate you coming in a little bit early. I definitely appreciate that tonight too.
Oh, no, man. No problem. I'm John. I'm Green Bodhi. If anyone doesn't know or whatever, but yeah, that's what's up. Psyched to be on the show. Appreciate it.
Hell yeah, absolutely, man. Always love having you on. All right, so I'm trying to see if there's any questions yet. I mean, that's if you could answer that if you'd like to. Talk a little bit about the NL5 or the Northern Lights.
Yeah. So the NL5, it's a '89 NL5 I got from my buddy Sinbud, but it came through Melvinetics, which goes all the way back to Neville. Um, it's kind of one of the cornerstone strains in most all genetics. So that's why I was really happy to work with it. I really, to be honest, I wasn't even sure that I had the right thing because it was so fucking dank. I didn't. I got some from Jaime Chiva, and I did them both at the same time. His I could tell was from this line, but it was just worked differently, selected differently. Everyone has their own selection process of what they're going for and what they like. So I'm assuming that's why his leaned this certain way. But both dank, but the one that I have is just superior. And really, like I said, I wasn't even sure if I had what I had, to be honest, because one turned out just this purple Afghani, just dank, squat, chocolate, earthy, spicy. And the other one was basically like if you were to combine East Coast Sour D with Chem D. And I was fucking blown away because that's just not what I expected. Um, and then I had Jorge Cervantes over at the house for about a week. He came over and I was psyched to have him over because I knew he'd be able to verify it. Right when I brought him out to the deck and he's all, dude, that's what I remember from back in the day, and he told me the whole story. Seattle Steve basically owned this grow store, handed out NL5 to everyone that bought a light, and that's kind of what spread it around. Um, and then he got Ron Creeped on the phone, who was Neville's main apprentice that Neville gave his entire collection to before he passed. And we got him on the FaceTime looking at it, and he was psyched. They both confirmed that that's what it was from what they're seeing. And really, when you backtrace all the lineage of a lot of strains, it lands on that NL5 somewhere. So it was something I wanted to bring in and do a breeding project with because I wanted to kind of, bring that old foundational stability, old school thing back into all these new school genetics. And I think it did that. It breeds really true. Everything that I put it to just has a really good balance of the mother and the father, father being the NL5. And the NL5 that I chose was the more chem leaning one. I chose also as the male, I chose one that almost is exactly like my female pick. So and I did that because I'm just a kind of chem sour fan. So that's, I mean, a lot of my genetics run OG, chem sour, that kind of vibe to it, besides the hazy, which, is what it is for what it is. So
Yeah. So I had a pretty big menu to choose from. I did narrow it down a little bit, of course. And what we put on the site was interesting to me. So we could start with a dog walker. 80. So these crosses are all crossed to his '89 Northern Lights #5 that he just spoke about a little bit. And the first one is the dog walker. So is the dog walker? I don't remember if we spoke about this at some of the last stuff. Is that the dog walker OG, or
yeah, it's dog walker. It's from One Eye Rich. He's was a breeder and stuff. And they call it dog walker OG. They call it just dog walker, but I call it dog walker, but it's dog walker OG. I'm pretty sure is what the common name is, but it is the one I cut. It is Rich's cut. So it's about as funky, chem, you know, dirty laundry, stank funk as there gets for the most part for a strain. So
yeah, the dog walker is lovely, man. That came from we were just talking about the dog walker the other night, and the people that didn't know, it did come from Albert Walker, I believe, and I think it was found in a Grateful Dead concert, if I'm not mistaken, too. So sort of like how the Chem dog was, At least that's the story that I got was that sort of story right there. So
yeah, there's
uh,
I'm not sure the exact story of when, how, what, where he, what,
right,
but it's definitely Albert
yeah,
Walker by what chem. Chem D, I think, or
Right.
something. Yeah.
Okay, and let me just see if there's any questions real quick. Over the years, have you found any specific cultivars that help with opioid recovery more so than others?
I mean, I think really like a lot of my friends that have dealt with things like that too, it's more of just like something that's gonna not mimic that, but more give you that hyper awareness, that hyper sense of focus, that hyper sense of, capacity in your own mindfulness to where you can out train that kind of addiction by being aware of it. So I haven't really found, strains that mimic that kind of thing by any means, like, kratom or something that's going to like mimic that in some ways to where you jump from one to the other. I don't think cannabis is really like that personally. I think it's more of a creating a heightened sense of mindfulness to where you can see these triggers instead of jumping into it. You can veer away from it. So most of the like hyper awareness strains, some maybe they give you anxiety. Some people maybe they, you know, some people don't like them as much. But that's what I found works really well for that kind of stuff.
Let's go to John. Can you tell us about the passion fruit hash plant?
Oh, that's Bodhi's, bro. That's not mine. That's my good buddy
Oh, okay.
Bodhi.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
He's a good friend of mine, and obviously we got this collab with the Larry OG Purple Unicorn F3 that's in there. So, and that came from him. The reason I got that from him was to basically create Purple OGs. He said if by taking that Purple Unicorn out to the F3 and putting it with the Larry OG, it's gonna bring a lot of the color, but still have that OG nose. And what happens a lot of times with the purples is it kind of bleeds out that OG, and it's hard to get the purple with that OG. But I think with taking this out to the F3 and using those that male, I think did it. So
And
sure,
that's the
sure.
other, that is the other line that we put five strains of each. So the Larry OG Purple Unicorn, I was gonna, ask you a little bit more about that as well. But we
Yeah,
can.
that's
Yeah.
yeah. It's from Bodhi. Basically we did two collabs. First one was the Ancient OG, and the second one was the Larry OG Purple Unicorn F3, and all the funds went to the Library Learning Center of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So we raised almost 20 grand for that out of those two collabs. So we were both really hyped on that.
Okay, so that is the line that we just put. So that's actually a collab, the
Yeah,
Larry OG Purple Unicorn. Okay. Okay.
yeah, a Bodhi collab. And I'm sure everyone's aware. It's like I don't do collabs with anyone. I'm not really sure who's done collabs with, but those are two official collabs that he did with us. So
Okay. What else? These are typical questions that come across. I tend to already know what the answer is going to be. But what is your favorite strain to smoke?
I guess it depends on what time of day. To be honest, earlier in the day I like sours and chems. I don't know really. All my herb is the same, and just it seems like by nighttime you smoke more of the same herb. It works for the nighttime. If you're smoking all day, the shit you were smoking during the day, it gets more nighttime as the night
It
goes
it does, right?
on.
That's the way it goes, right?
I mean, no, the strains don't keep me awake or anything, that's for sure. But there are my good go-to day smokes that I've been, the Hazy Kush, Chauffeur, AJ Sour Diesel, Chem D, Chem 94, Chem 91. Um, Sour best shit ever. I like to smoke I don't like to smoke first thing in the morning, but I like to smoke it the afternoon more. It's a classic OG vibe.
So we can continue. So okay. So we'll talk about the Northern Lights line, just the rest. The Trinity, we got the Trinity to 89 Northern Lights, and I'll just read them off, and you can talk about each one a little bit if you want. The Chem D, I mean, we pretty much know what these are. The Skywalker, and then there was the Sour Best Shit Ever, which you just touched on a little bit. If you want to I think
Yeah.
pretty much everybody knows the Chem D. I mean, the Trinity is something that maybe people don't really realize or know because it isn't older. It's something older that isn't really found too much anymore. So, if you want to maybe talk about the Trinity a little bit, the Trinity Cross and the Sour Best Shit Ever, because I'm interested in the Sour Best Shit Ever too.
Yeah, the Trinity is a classic Eugene strain. it was, I know people are growing it up in NorCal too, and in Portland and stuff like that. But it was really housed out of Eugene, out of the Snodgrass family, and that kind of whole crew. If people aren't familiar who that is, Bob Snodgrass is basically like the grandfather, grand poobah of glass blowing. He's the one that invented fuming with metal. He's the one that, like basically kind of pushed the envelope of what to do and what not to do when you're blowing glass. So and
He is. Yes, we could do a whole show on that. You know what I mean? Listen, this is my people. A whole show. So he was one of the first people to make pipes and color and all that. Like he's the godfather. He is the godfather of all the glass that we see now. If it wasn't for him, I'm sure somebody eventually would have did it, but he was the first person to do it. And family like Grateful Dead family. He used to be on tour. Like I walk up to his booth. That's when I first met him way back in the day. So we're all connected. Yeah.
Yeah, and people come to Eugene, right, to go to him and Batcham's 420 parties, and they'd stock up for tour over through the summer. They'd buy herbs, shrooms, glass, fill up, and then out to the lots all summer. So
Yeah.
it
No
was,
doubt.
But so Trinity is a Eugene kind of folklore classic. I think personally, this isn't the original trend; it's the future trend. So there's a regular trend cut. Then there was this next Trinity that came through, which I think is this Trinity that people are having now. It's called Future Trend. I think it was an S1 or something. It's almost identical, just it grows a little more, a little more bud, a little more bracta leaf ratio. Trinity, I didn't think Trinity was ever really leafy at all, personally, the way I grew it. But some people didn't have the best time with it. But this Future Trend is a little more stout, a little more bracted out. Pretty much just all cola and flour versus, there being some leaf in there. But yeah, it's a classic. Basically like burnt rubber, skunk, fucking.
I was just gonna say, like on the skunk.
Like,
I mean, I hear people now that will say that is what they think it was skunk, or the closest thing to skunk now is that Trinity, and I'm like, okay.
I mean, I've never smelt a strain more skunky to this day that, because it's like, it smells like a fucking skunk with burnt
Right.
rubber, it's like, I mean, it's like that combo really. And the effects are really nice, day or night. It's really, it's a really broadleaf plant, but it doesn't really give you that kind of, classic indica or whatever kind of head, um, but I don't know if any strains do personally, because anything I'll smoke, if I smoke it all the time, it doesn't have the same effects as if you're smoking it randomly,
Yeah,
Um,
no, definitely.
the Sour Best Shit Ever, on the other hand, it's a classic OG. Kind of reminds me of the SFV OG, but I've heard it's Crybaby OG. I've heard all kinds of things because I got it as a cut in like 2012 from Bamboo. He goes by Bamboo Boswell. I don't know what he goes by on AG anymore, but he was working with my buddy Michael with Coastal Seeds back in the day with Mr. Bob Hemphill and Graham and everything. They were in Coastal together, and basically Graham and Bam worked through Mike. Mike's a really old school Santa Cruz, head, been in the breeding game a long time. So I think it's Cogu on Instagram, Cogu1. But anyway, so I got that cut, and
Cool.
really, to be honest, the SPSC 89NL is probably my favorite strain right now. It's more funky smelling than Dog Walker. It has a really nice high, and grows perfect and super easy. So I mean, those are like, I love it when you nail one that's super easy to grow, super fucking dank. You know, you don't. It's hard to pick which one you're gonna keep out of the. Because usually I only, like, for me personally, I'll take a pack and I'll start a pack. That's how I usually test what I'm for things that go out to market. I'll just do like any normal person would do. I get my 10 seeds, I throw them in my mouth, I spit each one out, stick it in the dirt, and then I start it, and then that's how I do it. If I can't find a winner out of that, I'm really not psyched. Actually, I don't want to have to hunt like fucking pack after pack to get a winner. I want to be able to get one. If you pop 3 plants, if you pop 5 plants, if you pop whatever, you're gonna get a winner out of that. And that's
Yeah.
That's what happens too when you do breed with solid, stable genetics. You get a lot of winners. So it's it's classic.
So there you go. Winners in every pack. That's how it should be. You shouldn't have to do that. You're right. Like you should be able to buy a pack, pop 10 seeds, and find a couple, at least one, at least. But a
Yeah,
couple.
I mean, and there's always going to be you got to be aware. Like a lot of people think, oh, this is the, you know, you, no, you got to know what's up, and you got to know what you're looking for too, and you got to give them what they need. If you don't give a plant what it needs, a lot of times it won't express itself properly, and you'll be like, oh, that shit was funk. Well, when you fucking let it dry out 6 times during like flowering too heavy that or this there's a lot of mistakes we can make that you know really won't let the plant express itself properly. But if you give it what it needs and you don't let it get too dry, you don't over fucking saturate, just classic normal stuff, they do pretty well. So I think that's across the board on most plants, to be honest. But
Do you have any straight up indica seeds? Anything straight up indica?
I'm a hybrid. I'm a hybrid lord. I'm half Korean,
There you
half
go.
white, so I'm a hybrid. Everything else is a hybrid. We're all hybrids.
We're all hybrid.
And I don't know the that straight indica. Like I said, even with the NL, it's Afghani and Hawaiian, right? Those are what it was. So you can get these really Afghani, which I would kind of consider an indica if you're going by definitive standards. But
Right.
they're all hybrid really at this point in the game, I think.
Best Northern Lights, 88, 89. Okay. So that's what we just dropped, just so you know. It was the 89 Northern Lights NL5, a couple hybrids of, a couple crosses, 5. And we'll see. So they're on the site. I'll let you guys know that right now. We will see how it goes and probably try to pick up some more because there was a bunch of good ones. I just picked out a couple for you guys.
The NL line's really a good line for breeders, man. If they want to like make their own seeds, if they want to because it's a regular line. So a lot of times nowadays it's hard to find regular lines that have what you want to work with. This is definitely a crusher. Everyone that's like hit any packs with it, they're all really really happy. So and all the pictures I'm sending back, I'm like, fuck, man, I want a cut of everyone's like selection. Some of them are so bomb. You're like, what? Can you send some of those? Send me a clip. What's up?
Is there any seeds of chauffeur?
Yeah, I crossed it to the hazy, and to the 89 NL also.
Okay, so that's on the menu as well. All right. What do we have? What up, Tino? Has anyone seen anything? Okay, I don't know what this is. Has anyone seen anything from the original packs of Frank? I'm not sure what that is. I don't know if you do. Franco Lago Amnesia. Not sure.
No, Amnesia Haze maybe is what he saw. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Possibly. I'm not sure either. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, hit them in there. I'll take a look at the Instagram. But like I said, from T. Lewis, any insight on breeding regular seeds with FEMs?
Yeah, it's really, I mean, working with fem, you just want to make sure they're stable, obviously, but the reality is you've feminized a plant, and that's going to bring up things if they're not the optimum conditions, for me, like we really do a really good job of keeping light out of our pollen donor reality. Because that's a fucking issue, if there's light leaks in there, from my understanding, it can induce herms, but if you're blacked out fully, there's no little weird pinholes, there's no weird little leaks, you're pretty safe, and if you're, some things fem good, some things don't, but pollinating fems, no issue, unless you pollinated a bad fem that's really holding a lot of weird, herm tendencies, then it can be more than,
Okay, so on the Larry OG Purple Unicorn, we did the Dog Walker, the Sour Best Shit Ever, the Skywalker, Kosher Kush. So those are pretty much, and the Gary Payton. So what do you recommend? Out of those few, what do
well,
you recommend?
the Gary Larry is fucking dank. I really like that one a lot. The Kosher Kush by Larry OG is Purple Unicorn's the one I found all the purple OGs in. So
Okay.
that's but really you're gonna find that in the SPSC by the Larry too. Anything that's gonna hold the profile. That's why I like working with really strong genetics that are kind of tried and true already. They bring half the characteristics and if not more a lot of times. So sometimes with the male you're pulling just vigor, color, structure, but the female is really the thing that's expressing the kind of characteristics that you're going to find in the flower, in my opinion. That at least that's how I choose. So that could be all on my selection. I don't choose the one that's leaning towards more of the male. I'm choosing the one that's leaning towards that female because that's why I use that female. So that's just kind of some of my logic behind that.
I like the Gary a lot personally. I think it's one of the,
Yeah.
one of my favorite like new strains is that Gary. It's Gazzy. It's just good. It's good.
Yeah, no, it's a classic for a purple strain that's like, definitely has the funk to it and it grows really easy, yields good, strong. Those are good characteristics.
I run Green Bodhi's Future Haze, and it's fucking dank. All right, let's go.
Yeah, that future's sick. It is a fucking dank one.
Larry OG is so thanks. So yeah, like I said, we just dropped the Larry OG Purple Unicorn. So the cross on that is what the Larry to obviously the Purple Unicorn is what it is.
Yeah, and so Bodhi took it out to the F3, and I think he was potentially doing the same thing, trying to create the foundation for some purple OGs because a lot of us have been trying to do that for a while, but it's once you go purple, it changes a lot of the terps. So with this, when I was talking to him about wanting to do some purple OGs, he's like, "Oh, you should use this one, man. This one would be really good." So then he told me about it, and taking it out to the F3 brings in a lot of the color without bringing in a lot of the characteristics from the purple unicorn. And then the Larry OG, obviously, it's a great OG. So bringing that all in to the OGs, it's just, kind of win-win. If you like OGs, if you don't like OGs, then maybe that's not the best. But I haven't really met anyone that doesn't like OGs, honestly.
No, love OGs. Love OGs. Yeah. I think there's more people looking for him now than ever. Like, this is why I would like to do drops with you too, because you have a lot of that old school, the old school, like the NL5. No one really has that now. Yeah, some of this older stuff, man. Or like, certain people that do like the Larry I saw drop recently, they just try, people can't afford $250 a pack for this shit. So, we're just not in that time anymore. So I appreciate, the prices being fair to everybody as well. And you guys
we all understand how seeds are. It's it's I mean you're making a sacrifice, you're creating seeds instead of smokable flour, and that's there has to be reason for it. And if you're going to do it, I mean, I feel it's only fair to offer people like good prices, and I guarantee you when they get into those packs, when they're expecting 11, they see like 25 or something because I just I just know for sure there's more than 11. I don't
okay.
count them, scoop them out of my palm of my hand until the fucking vial's getting close to full, and I know that we're like way past 11.
Okay, good. All right,
Yeah,
that's good.
there'll be 20 some seeds in a lot of those packs.
So we did, I know we did with some of the stuff that's still on the site, some of the older stuff. There was an NL5, I think it was a BX. Is that what we did as the freebies on that? So
yeah, totally.
okay, so there's still some of that left too, and some of the older stuff is still on the site. I see people asking, like I have somebody on Instagram, and I know not everybody knows, but the way that this is set up, I have to look down and see your guys' comments on Instagram, which is fine. But you should come over to the YouTube. It just makes it easier. I can put your guys' questions up on the screen, but I will try to get to some of them. So one of the questions from Instagram, because there's a bunch of people on there, is how do you have anything with high PM resistance?
Yeah, all the hazy line has pretty high PM resistance. So the terpenoline and osmine, humulene, that kind of combo, I think really mitigates that a lot. But really VPD is your winner for PM resistance. If you have proper VPD, this shit can't breed. A lot of people, and even I have way back in the day, like we used to think the lower the pH, the lower the humidity, the better. But once you start going under 40, shit start blooming really hard,
Right.
And I didn't realize that back in the day. I'm like, oh, how come with one little dehumidifier in a like 8 light room, I was good, And then I never got PM, and then you start getting PM, and I'm like, what the fuck's happening, And then I realized, oh, I'm running my room too dry, So don't do that. But EPD is clutch, I usually run my rooms, try to keep them, in the 70s and in the 50s, humidity wise, mid to low 50s.
Okay, so yeah, listen, I see you guys asking the same thing here. I'm going to put this one up there, and you guys can use the code there. So that's a discount code. I already have that typed up. It was from something else we did, but you guys are welcome to use that today. So there's the site right there, and that will save you guys 15% today. If you use that code, you can go to the site. You can pick up the stuff we just put on, or anything from Green Bodhi line that's on the site. And there's a lot. There's a pretty good selection there. We just added 10 new strains that we just spoke about. There's some of the hazy stuff on there as well. You guys go to the site and check it out. You can use that code. So now it's on the scroll at the
Sick.
bottom. Feel free to go use it.
That's dope.
Let's see. We have, I missed the OGs from the early 2000s, True Alien OG, and many more. What else? Should I wait for
that SBSE is about as close to OG from the fucking early days as it gets, The Skywalker OG too. That's just, in my opinion, their profiles are almost identical. The Sour Best Ever might have a little more of a lemon, back to it, but still has that anise, just
Right.
fucking earth funk, The Skywalker yields more. The G cut, it's definitely yields a lot more than the SBSE, but they're both banger.
Should I wait for F2 and then cross? I'm still getting Leo's newest lineup. I'm not sure exactly what the question is there, so should have just read through it. What are the terps on the Larry OG? Is the question,
It's
and that's
it's a classic OG. Anyone that knows OGs, it's got that anise kind of burnt rubber, earth, acrid kind of fuel. That's when I think of fuel in my head. The first thing that comes up is sour and OG. Kind of has like tractor grease or fucking motor oil kind of hints, but really the anise and the kind of earth tones are really what stick out to me.
and some lemon in there too.
Yeah.
Some lemon pepper.
The structure is just, it's funny how many OG cuts there are, but what's funny is when I way back, I took probably 5 or 6 different ones to Phylos, and this was, I don't know, 2012 or something like that, and they all hit the same spot, and this was when there was a debate. Hey, are these all the same cut that got changed through different people's rooms, or is this are these actual different cuts? I think they're different cuts personally, because you smoke all of them side by side, they all have a different effect. The headband, which is like 707 OG, or headband, that's like OG Kush. You can go back into the forums. From what I understand, is that you can find where they talk about that being a renamed cut. So a lot of people did that. But if you grow them side by side, the Ghost, the Fire, the Skywalker, they're all different. If you grow them side by side, the bud structure's a little different, high's a little different, but that's just my own experience.
No, agreed. I think that's why they are. That's why they are different. They're all at least a little bit different. OGs at that, but definitely different. What's the worst? Okay, we could talk a little bit about. I had Brandon on last week. I thought I was gonna have you guys both on at the same time for a little bit, but because of this question, we can talk a little bit. I'll let you talk a little bit about the line, and we could point people to either. I think it's on his site, right? Is that stuff on your site and his site, or both you
No,
guys?
it's on his site, the amendment, the
Okay.
collab that we did, which is really dope. I mean, I just did a little run in my house room, and just like that's all I used, little EM or effective microorganisms, whatever that, and the top dress, and fucking raged. Just like any top dress, you got to be careful. You can get a little overzealous, and you're like, oh, my fucking room's looking banging. And then next thing you know, you're like, oh, it's a little
It's
too. Oh,
burning.
something's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you have to fucking flush like gallons and gallons through your. Or at least that's how I cure any type of like overfeeding in organics. Is I just water the fuck out of everything.
So, what led up to me? Okay, what's the worst pest or disease you've encountered, and how did you overcome it? Was the question?
The worst, pest was obviously like broads and cyclamid, those kind of mites when they came on, and we didn't really know what the fuck was happening. That was a big one, but sulfur takes care of that in veg and everything, so it's a really easy knockout. The hop latent is a whole different story. I got that from Dark Heart Nursery 2012. Back before anyone even knew what it was. I got this jelly bean cut, and it was fucking whack and lame. And anyway, I grew it, and it sucked, and it was just like I was like, oh, this is the worst shit ever, And then
Not the best shit ever. Not the sour best shit ever. The
no,
worst shit ever.
I started to see it in other strains, and I'm like, what the fuck's this weird look? And I just called it geeking out, where it was basically like little weird leaf stems are weird. And basically I had like that infected a huge part of the garden. So like at that time, I had Oregon State there. They tested everything looking for tobacco mosaic and any other pest or disease and all that. Couldn't find anything. And so at that time we didn't know what it was. So for me personally, I outgrew it out of the garden. I basically, with optimum conditions and fast growing, you can basically outgrow the disease. So just taking the best cuts, any plant that expressed any of those characteristics, I'd remove everything, throw away the saucer, the fucking pot, the whole plant into the fucking landfill. To be honest, that's how I did it. This is before Sunny Chiba and Homegrown Natural Wonders, Shane and Odie Diesel, they basically started working on this Harborside project down in Salinas, and they called it dudding. Their whole farm had it, so they cleaned it all up, and they actually cleaned it up the same way. Outgrew it. You basically just like, especially with the sun, and if you have optimum health conditions plus good light, you can grow things fast. And you give them the boost of nitrogen when they need it to shoot that spurt, and then you start cutting the tops that are outgrown it. For us, now we've been testing for hop latent through Toomey for about 4 or 5 years, 4 years now, when I think they might have came on. Goviko's a good friend of ours, and anyways, so when we first started testing with them, we were just testing like the stem and the leaf, but you have to have leaf, stem, and root mass, and that test has to be done in I think a 60 or 90-day window to make sure that plant's clean. And so we've been continually testing, and just testing everything in that like window just to make sure. And you'll get these false positives, you'll get positives, then you'll test again, you get negative. If you get a negative, then you need to test again and make sure it's negative again. So I want 2 negative tests, like, or it's not sure yet. So anytime anything comes into the garden, I'll I'll bring it in, we'll have a quarantine, we'll do our whole thing to it, dip it, spray it, fucking have it growing over here. And we don't have it touching any other plants, we have it all in its own quarantine area. And until we can get all those tests done on it. So if something won't come into our garden, and even we won't even try it. If someone gives me a cut, I have to wait, usually 90 days, 120 days to get to where I want to be able to introduce it into the garden where I know it's clean. But definitely, with a really healthy garden, the really healthy biome and soil, you don't you don't really have to worry about it as much because the plant's in optimal health and it won't express itself. It's when you overwater or when a bug gets it or there's stress issues or whatever. That's when that kind of shit can express itself. So that's really at least what I've found.
Like, are you finding it more so now than ever in the clones that you take in? Like, is it something that you see a lot? And I'm not saying your own garden, but clones that you're taking in, are you seeing it more now than ever? Or
I mean, there were some people passing out dirty clones everywhere. They're really popular in the industry.
yeah,
They weren't doing their due diligence, and this person sent me like I'm fucking so happy I didn't do a collab with this person. But anyway, they sent me a whole bunch of shit, and I was like,
right,
and they were like really good in the scene at
right,
that time. Everyone wanted their gear, they're paying a lot of money
yeah,
for their clones. And I
right.
fucking hit him back. I was like, hey, yo, half the shit has hop latent. Oh, what? I fucking test all the time. I was like, yeah, no, you don't,
No,
bro.
you don't. Yeah,
Because
no, you don't.
it's a really easy test and it's really, um, eh, you know, conclusive and inclusive if you do it right. So, you know,
What do you think about I have I have people. Well, that doesn't happen often, but I do see when people seed popping when it duds out. Like, what do you think? Is that just like a genetic thing you think, or you think that's just
I don't know. Shit happens. Shit happens. It's
Yeah, I'm
like
just curious. There's more
I don't
curiosity
really
on my part.
know. I think maybe there just isn't enough genetic vigor in that seed potentially, or
Yeah,
or maybe fusarium. Who fucking knows? It doesn't take much to get on that little, or when you get the little one that's just like boom, and then right at the base it just fucking turns to a little
right.
mush melt and just is
Yeah,
over.
yeah,
I
like
don't
that.
know.
Yeah,
I don't know what happens there, but
yeah. Just curious.
yeah.
All right. So let's see. We have. I think we just did the wait. Did we just do this? The worst pest? Yeah, we just talked that. I just trimmed up a super chronic Gary Payton. That's cool. That's lit. No, I didn't do the biscotti cross. We'll go through this drop and then we'll re-put some of the other stuff on there. Is there any hype strains that you like? I mean, we just talked about the Gary. The question is there any hype strains out there that you like?
I like the Georgia pie. I like the Gary. Um, all these other newer strains, that lemon cherry gelatos, whatever. I'm not really a big gelato fan, so that's kind of, that kind of takes me out of 99% of hype strains these days. So, but
We got. Oh, good. The Platinum OG was fire. I had slight orange terps to it. It was very good. I'm just going to read out some of the stuff. Um, what up, Spanish Dre? Hey, get your guys' questions, and we only got him for like 13 more minutes, guys. I know he got to go. So, oh, Dark Heart. You want to comment on Dark Heart? Excellent.
I mean, that was back. That was back when you're only worried about getting spider mites, bro. And Dark Heart Nursery was like, you're like, oh, everyone thought it was just spider mites that you had to worry about.
Oh, sub cool. RIP sub cool. My name is Marv. Nematodes. Agent Orange. You guys are all talking about sub cool now. All right. I mean, I'm just saying, get your questions in because, yeah, I think we
got sub cools Romulan.
okay. Sub cool's Romulan. Oh, is that the Romulan you use? I think there. Do we? We actually do have a cross with the Romulan in it. So okay.
And actually, if I were to think of like that's a good strain for like indica lovers, really, to be honest. Has that kind of effect.
So THCV, is that something that you have found? Is there any of your strains that might be high THCV? I know it's something a little bit new on the it's something that, I mean, I only know one or two. I just see the question, so I just figured I'd put it up there. And
The golden has a little bit in it. Hazy has a little bit in it. You know, it's definitely a nice addition to any, you know, cannabinoid pack, to be honest.
Do you have any psychedelic strains? I have some genetics worth that are real trippy visual. Any psychedelic strains?
Like what, cactus? I have lots of psychedelic cactus.
Cactus, man. LSD, and we got mushrooms. Let's go.
I don't really like the hazy line is the most trippy one for me, and you know that'll put someone on a bad one if they're having a bad one, or it'll put someone on a good one if you're having a good one. But it's definitely that, like, you know, kind of has that euphoric psychedelia, but nothing to cause visual, you know, constrictions or whatever. You know, the
Here's a
thing is
good one.
that, yeah, let's see
Yeah,
what.
no, finish off. This is just the next question. Finish what you were saying.
No, it's chill, bro. It's all good. I was just gonna ramble.
Oh, okay. Well, the next question was about and this is, I actually got to talk to you. I think we're out of one of these. So okay, what can you say about the Sale Hayton and the Golden Pineapple S1? That was what it was.
Hayden hash is really good. It's you know, it's Mass Medical's Wu-Tang by the Hazy Kush. Um, I like the way it hashes. The color's fucking gorgeous. The Wu-Tang have a lot of these really pink and magenta kind of colors to it, and has this kind of tangy note to it. So the hazy blended really well with that. Hash wise, it's really good, and the effects are really nice. The Golden Pineapple S1, Golden Pineapple's White Widow by Cindy 99. I used to think it was Cindy 99 by Golden Skush because when I got the pineapple, there was a strain called Oregon Pineapple going around. A lot of people are working, you know, and sending it wherever. This wasn't that. So when I was looking through the Canna Bible, I saw this Golden Pineapple by Wally Duck, and I was like, oh, that must be it. Trichomes look the same, description's exactly the same, and so I just started calling it Golden Pineapple. And then I gave it to some people that are, you know, in Eugene and that are still kicking, Fenario Farms, these other ones, you know, that all like Dead Fam kind of seeing stuff, and basically started spreading its way around Oregon and around the West Coast. And it's the Golden's like classic haze, tropical fruit with haze, but finishes 10 week and under. You know, sometimes it goes 11, but and it just yields. We were doing, I mean, back then I was doing 3 gallon pots, getting half pounds off each plant. It was really nice, you know. High THC, high big yielder. That was a strain that I first went to Addison Terpova when he was CEO of Steep Hill. I think it was 2011. Busted out a bunch of jars of that, golden, hazy, mystery, bunch of other things, and just like had him test them because I was like, oh, there's this testing lab. Cool. I'll see what these strains are, you know.
Right.
And at that time, that 19.4 was the highest they tested out of 35,000 samples, you know. And so then, you know, Addison calls me like 4 or 5 days later, dude, what the fuck, bro? Because, you know, I called him. I was like, hey, man, I got a bunch of strains I think might be good. You know, I'm from Eugene. You know, people around here say I'm a pretty good grower and I got good genetics and whatever. And he's all, yeah, whatever, bro. Everyone says that. You know, I was like, yeah, I'm sure, you know. But anyway, he calls me back. He's all, what the fuck, dude? He's all, that Golden Pineapple hit 24.7. I was like, yeah, is that high, you know? He's all, dude, the highest we tested so far is 19.4. I'm like, oh wow, cool, you know? And he's all, everything he brought actually was over 20%. I was like, oh, interesting, you know? And so that's all just off selection too, you know? We keep things because we like it, but certain people, it has to be a certain strength to like it, you know? Or it's fucking not gonna get smoked. It's gonna sit in
Right.
the jar. So you
So
know,
it beat out everything. Pretty much everything you had at that point beat out everything. It's good.
yeah, totally.
We already spoke about this a little bit. I know, you know, you probably are just coming in, so I will put it up one more time. And it is, you know, you can see when I put it up there, right?
Yeah, totally.
Where did he pull the 89 NL from? So they probably weren't
Yeah,
in here in the beginning.
yeah. It came from my buddy Sinbud, and then that he got it from Melvinetics. Obviously, Melvinetics. It came through Neville. So you know, and it comes from the work that Neville was doing with, you know, working it in that year, from my understanding. But Jorge told me the story of the NL5 comes from it's basically spawned out of this guy Steve out of Seattle. He owned a grocery store, every time someone would buy a light, he'd give them a pack of these seeds, and that's kind of why it spread everywhere and why everyone was doing it. And from my understanding, these are what the old school legends say. So I just try to repeat exactly what they say instead of switching it up.
Definitely, man. That's like, yeah, that's good. That's good.
Well, there's a lot of story about the NL5. Oh, it came from some Native American out of Orcas Island and bullshit.
So there's the NL5, there's the NL2, right? Is that NL?
NL2,
Okay.
NL1, I think also.
Okay, so I guess it would be okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
have that.
the NL5 was just the one that was this. I mean, that's the one that seems like it has the most notoriety. At least is the 5. So
Well, obviously, the selection of the mother was stronger or something. And that's what that's really what it comes down to a lot, in my opinion, is selection. A lot of these breeders, they, maybe they don't have as broad of a palate or as, experience in the game or whatever, to where they're going a certain direction, or they're full open pollinating. They're not selecting a female to pollinate. They're using all the females, all the
right.
males, and just like letting the party go on. Which is you're going to be able to get a broader swath of genetic variation, but also you're not getting the specifics. Like, maybe if, for me, I like specific things, if I were to do that kind of style, it wouldn't give me what I'm wanting in the end. So I think selecting really is 90% of breeding, in my opinion. So being a good selector and selecting a good strong female. And that's kind of, even with Addison and Steep Hill, when I brought them all those strains, those are the ones that I selected to keep. Those are what I was smoking. That's what I liked. And those all tested high. So, the person selecting has to have a certain understanding, and their own personal biome has to be certain, something to pick the right thing. If you're, if you don't know what you're looking for, then how are you going to choose what's right,
Yeah, no, and I love that, intentional breeding, like breeding with intention, and that's what you do, and that's, yeah, like the whole open pollination. What you do is more specific, and I feel like more breeders should take note of the way that you do what you do. To be honest,
Yeah, it keeps the variation in the gene pool very wide. You know what I mean? I think it's good to have so many different peoples doing so many different styles of breeding and selecting, and that's cool too. But for me, I'm trying to do something more specific and trying to basically, I want a balanced trait of the female and the male, but I want
right.
what I want from the female. And usually it's all those characteristics that female is going to have. And then with the male, I'm just bringing in genetic vigor, certain other characteristics that are more subtle. It's just like human breeding or dog breeding or whatever. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like,
100%. That's why I break down like phenos sometimes, like people, like kids. We're all different, but we're from the same. Like that's, it is what it is. Like that's just
for
the
sure.
reality of it.
Well, I mean,
People are like,
I
well,
got a lot of characteristics from my mom, but certain characteristics I got from my dad, and I just look at it like that, like more came from my mom, like, but the parts like, the gnarly stuff came from my dad, so it's like,
right.
I mean, my mom's Korean, so she's fucking gnarly too, but like, and we're like 80s kids, so
Yeah,
there was a different style there. Your parents slapped the shit out of you and chase you down the fucking hall, beating you with a spoon because you talk
definitely,
back,
bro.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean? I still
I
tease
mean,
my mom
yelling out
about
the
it,
window at dinner time, that was it. That's how it was back
kicking
then.
you out the fucking house and don't come back till fucking night,
Don't
bro.
come back.
Like,
Exactly. That's how it was, man. Oh
oh,
shit.
now you don't even want your kid
Um,
to leave your sight.
let's see. Okay, so we only have him for a couple more minutes, guys. Let me see if there's any other questions here. Did you ever get NL3? I believe NL I got in Los Angeles in 88, 89 was narcotics, sticky, etc. So did you ever get NL3 was the question really.
No, but the NL5 sounds like that. But like I said, it's like imagine all those seeds going through the West Coast, bro, and everyone selecting their winner out of it, and then putting it through their whole scene. You know what I mean? Oh, I got this fucking weed. And, you know, like Southern California in the fucking late 80s and early mid 90s was like, you got chronic. You were fucking superhero, dude. You like, because that shit didn't, you know, people don't understand is they think that this shit was like everywhere. Chronic wasn't everywhere. It was fucking
No.
It was Mexican brick weed. And if you got some weed that was more green and less compressed and less seeds, you're almost psyched that it's fucking almost chronic to you, you know. But when you got a bag, $70 3-gram eighth that came from Oregon, you know, like
Yeah.
that's when you got
Humboldt,
the.
Mendel,
You're like
Eugene.
what?
That
You
was
know,
it. You know, and I lived in Florida back then, so it was like, you know, we did, but that's how it was, man. I mean, before I moved to Florida, bro, in Pennsylvania, like I would literally have to wait 3 weeks. I give some dude fucking 60, $70 for it. They have to wait 3 fucking weeks for it. Like
and you
for
would,
real.
and
And
you
I
would,
would, you know? Like that's
for
just how it
sure.
was, man.
No,
That's how it was.
it wasn't like now where you can go everywhere and get, you know, there, you know, it just wasn't like that, you know, like it
No.
wasn't even like that in fucking Eugene in the like late 90s, bro. Like, and it wasn't like everyone was growing weed. There was like, you know, you see the whole crews out at night, you know what I mean? Prankster crew, fucking Dog Kingdom crew, Silver People crew, fucking, you know, and it was all revolving around, you know, Snotty and his like all the
Yeah.
apprentices from Snodgrass, you know. Just as how Eugene was. You had a friend that was blowing glass. You're most likely, you know, you started growing weed, and then you were, you know, the guy bringing the fucking nugs over to the fucking glass shop. Is there fucking blowing glass all day? You're taking hot rod hits of fucking, you know, such that was like the style back then, you know.
Yeah, that's how it was, man. And that's how, you know, a lot of the guys from Florida that I did tour, that I followed the dead with, eventually did move out there and were like apprentices or work with him. And, you know, I'm still like, most of them are gone. I mean, rest in peace, most of them, you know, but there's a couple of them that are still left. My one friend, you know, the guy that blew this, probably can't see it, but he's still kicking, man. And he was out there, you know, he was out there in Eugene and he moved out there to work with Bob and learn with Bob and apprentice with Bob and all that. So, came back to Florida, and that's, you know, they set up shops there, and yeah, it was cool back then, man. You know, we all were connected in some way, and we all had each other's backs back then too, man. I don't know what the fuck's going on nowadays, but you know what I mean?
Oh my God,
Like,
people are so jealous these days. They can't just like stay in their own lane and not worry about what other people are doing, man. Like I really don't know much about anyone else because I'm just, you know, trying to do what we do, and I'm trying to just be a good person the best I can, and you know, and do the right thing all the time, and not really focus on other people. So, you know, I have a few good friends in the industry, you know, that, and then I have other friends, but I don't really focus on other people. It's not my style, you know. So I don't really know when people are like, oh, you know what this was? I was like, nah, I don't know. Oh, you heard this beef, whatever. No, I don't fucking know any of it. I hope I'm not in any of it. So whatever.
right?
You
It's
know?
just, I know, like we're old, you know. I'm older, and I just don't want to even, you know. I hear about them. I'm just like, I don't really care, man. Like I do my own thing, you know. I don't worry about it. I want everybody to do well. That's just the reality, you know. I think
I
I'm at
mean, we
that
should.
point where
We're stewarding this plant, you know, and this plant is connecting all of us. So the last thing we should be doing is like fighting with each other, especially the breeders. You know, like I'm psyched on other people breeding because it's like that's more seeds and more plants and more plants and more plants. You know, it's like that's what matters. You know, this plant. You know, not
that's it.
our minor fucking weird mental
I'm
idiosyncrasies that we're
saying,
trying to like fucking that you
yeah,
know our childhood trauma coming.
you know, like my mind can't even wrap around some of that. I'm like, how? I'm
Oh,
like, nah,
dude.
I don't even, I'm good. You know, I'm good. Um, yeah, it's a trip, but
No, it's cool though. I'm psyched, and I'm, you know, it's good to be that way, and I hope everyone like, fuck, I hope everyone breeds. Like any packs that you get from me, I don't care if you breed with them, breed name them, do whatever the fuck you want, man. You bought them, they're yours. You have my blessing to do whatever. You start a whole breeding company out. That'd be sick. You know, I don't even care. You know, it's like, let's go. You know.
that's how it should. You know, that's the way it should be, man. I mean, the more plants, the better. And why not? You know, but do give credit where credit's due at the same time
Yeah,
for any guys
always.
out there. You know, make sure you.
When I worked with Crockett, like I didn't work with him. I took his Tangy, and I made a whole like run line out of it. And I hit him up after the fact. I was like, "Yo, brother, you know, like, it's a cool that like I did this and I can use your name." He's all, "Fuck yeah!" He's all, "Just don't change the name." You know, I said, "Fuck no, bro." You know, what's up, brother? You know?
Exactly. That's all. You know, most of these guys, like, as long as you guys give credit, man, or at least reach out if you want to do something specific. You know, reach
Well,
out and ask.
it'll really hold a lot of like bandwidth in the market. You know. because like, to be honest, like, like I just so happened to haphazardly, have certain collabs, with my first collab was with Kagi with Coastal Seeds, Mike, and he put the Hazy Kush to the Big Sur Holy. And that's why I created the Hazy Kush, is to actually recreate the Big Sur Holy that was in Eugene. And he's really good friends with Bodhi. And so then we all started vibing really hard, and like, and so I feel really like, you know, just honored to be able to have these kind of people as my friends in breeding, like
Oh,
you got Kagyu that's like the land race wizard, and Bodhi, he's like the fucking world traveling fucking guy, bro. Like he's went
definitely, man.
everywhere,
Like
it's like,
this came up last time, and I feel blessed. I feel blessed and lucky, that I'm able to work with, people like you. And there's just a handful of people that I actually just, really do respect a lot. You're one of them, and to be able to work with you guys, to be able to have you come on and share stories and talk about genetics, man. Like this is just, it's a blessing to me to be able to do this. Um, I love it. I really love what I do. I love bringing the community together. I love being able to do this. Not many other people. There's a lot of seed banks out there. I don't see many of them. I always said I would do it different and try to be more like, so who I am, not just a logo. And I think, I'm doing a pretty good job. So
I think
definitely
so too,
appreciate
brother.
it, man.
Yeah, man. Always good vibes, and it's always sick to be on the show. And anytime you just let me know. And by the way, that NL5, yeah, I crossed the Hazy Kush to the NL5 too. So
Yeah, there it is right there. That
yeah.
was it. So that was
Both
it.
ways. I
Yeah.
got Fem and I got regular. I got NL5 to the Hazy, and I got Hazy Fem to the NL5. So both ways.
All right. Wait, well, I'm trying to get us back on the Instagram, but I'm just gonna actually say I appreciate you. I think we're about at that hour mark right now with you.
Word.
I know you have places to be. So, yeah, bro, I
Appreciate
appreciate
it.
you.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely, thank you. You guys have any questions at all? Hit me up. We'll get it all figured out, like about the drop or any lines or anything you guys want. There are a couple menus I could choose from. I could pretty much choose and get you guys some other stuff too. There's an Afghani line I'm looking at. We'll visit that soon. But safe travels, bro. I appreciate you.
Sick. Thank
All
you.
right, man.
Appreciate you, brother. Have
All
a
right,
good one,
bro.
man.
Thank you,
Yeah,
man.
peace. Peace.
All right, so let me get us back on Instagram. Luna should be coming up very, very shortly, guys. Give me 1 second here. Let me get us back. Oh man, I did it again. 1 sec. The problem with Instagram, obviously, is that it ends every hour. I only have hour lives, so I actually have to restart it on Instagram. So bear with me 1 second here. And Luna should be here. Here we go. Bam, bam. That should be good. Let me get this. Man, Instagram, y'all know. Instagram is just a pain in my ass. Pain in my ass. Hey, I hope everybody likes the way that we're doing it now, though. I think it's actually it's really helpful to be able to be on a platform like this. YouTube is cool. I know there's people that feel a certain way about YouTube. I don't know why. All right, here we go. I think we're going to be back on Instagram right now. All right, we should be back on Instagram. There we go. And it's 8 o'clock. Give me 1 second. Let me get this back up. And I'm going to put up the little timer for 1 second here, guys. I tried to get everybody's questions. Just know that, we only have so much time. I hope we answered all you guys' questions. At least we touched on them all. Bob Snodgrass is still alive. Yes, he is still alive. Absolutely. Absolutely. What can it be? Are you hiding? Okay. I'm in NorCal. Been growing since early 2000s. Let's go. All the best weed, dead shows. That's right. Shout out 530, Mr. Marks, Victory Fires. prior Florida gear. Let's go. Florida boy right here. Yeah, lived in South Florida for a very long time. Do you have any strains with no ceiling? I mean, he's actually not here anymore. What up, Skunk Ape Glassworks? You got it. I'm going to put up this 30-second timer. I'm going to let it run through for a minute. So give me 1 minute. I'm going to try to reach out to Luna and make sure she knows the time is now. So let me put this up. Where's it at? Bam. Let's put this up. Put this back on. We got Luna here. Let's go. Get you up here.
How are you, man?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. I had a hectic day.
How have you been? I mean, it's been like I think it's been like 3 months. I look back and I was like, okay, time first of all flies. Crazy it's been.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I've been been pretty MIA, completely MIA on social media for like 3 months. It was almost 4 months.
Well, I mean, it's nice. It's nice that you came out here with me. I definitely appreciate you. You know that.
Thanks, are we live right now?
We are live right now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Let's go. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah,
Well,
I was like super last minute.
Yeah, start out with Green Bodhi. If you need a minute, just let me know. I can put you down.
No, I'm good. No, I'm good. I literally walked through the door like a minute ago and like ran up here.
All right, perfect. So for anybody that doesn't know who you are, and I feel like if you guys don't know who she is, I would like you guys to give her a follow too on Instagram. She actually has it up there. So you guys see on the screen right next to her name. Make sure you guys give her a follow. Check out what she's doing. You guys will learn a lot. Definitely, and support. So, and we'll get into it right now. So if you want to just introduce yourself for anybody that doesn't know who you are, I feel like most people do, but there might be some people that don't.
So I'm Luna Whitcomb. My handle's Luna all day on Instagram. I'm a soil enthusiast. I talk a lot about soil science, interaction of microbes and chemicals and amino acids, enzymes, carbohydrates, lipids and stuff, how they all interact with each other, just kind of like the ecosystem of the soil and like the biochemical reactions and everything, as well as how that all influences the plant and its metabolism and flavonoid pathways and how it contributes to different volatile compounds that create like aroma and our entourage effect and stuff like that. I've grown some monster plants in my day. That's probably like how I originally got my footing, is growing like these big monsters. But I'm really big into talking about like creative composting recipes and like Korean natural farming, soil food web sciences. Pretty much it. I do seed breeding. I have a seed breeding company. I consult. I have my Patreon. I work with Skunk Magazine. I write for magazines. I've written for websites. I've consulted all over the country and out of the country. About to hunt that chemcherry ice cream. What was the chemcherry? What was the chem? Oh, so that was a cross that I got from Tony Leva. He called it Mary's Cherry, which was ChemDog Special Reserve on cherry pie. Mm-hmm. And then I crossed that with a ice cream cake on an ice cream cake that I got from, was it Compound?
Sea Junkie, maybe?
No.
Okay.
I don't remember. But it was like this huge yielding plant that people were pulling like 5 pounds of light with. I was like, I got to use this to make a cross with. And that Mary's Cherry I got from Tony Leva was super fire. So yeah, that's what that is.
So breeding wise, do you have anything? Well, okay. Actually, this is why I reached out in the first. So the skunk line, right? Do you want to talk a little bit about that? And listen, I really hope you guys are following, first of all, Skunk Magazine, and make sure you guys give her a follow as well. You know, I am blessed to actually be able to be part of Skunk Magazine as well. We'll be, you know, we will be in this next the next one that's released and all that. Julie is a sweetheart. You know, really good people, good vibes. Really trying to put a lot of work out there, education, and bring the community together. So follow Skunk Magazine and make sure you guys give Luna a follow as well. And I'd like to talk a little bit about, yeah, the skunk line. I think that is out now. Seed Savers Club, maybe we could touch on a little bit too, and whatever else you want to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. So the skunk line was just released a couple weeks ago. This is a collaboration between myself as the cultivator, Caper Purple or Purple Caper. His handle is Caper Purple on Instagram. He did all of the genetic hunting over the course of like, I don't know how many years, a long time. And he's had these genetics in like tissue culture. A lot of them are super old school that he's been holding on to in tissue culture, that he hunted out of like, you know, I know the Durban poison, he hunted out of 100 seeds. His alpha skunks, he hunted out of 270 seeds. He's got this old school Northern Lights cross that he provided to us. When did I run and get some water real quick?
Good.
I'm sorry. I apologize to everyone.
No, go ahead. You're good. I'm gonna. Yeah, you're totally fine. We'll let her get her water, and yeah. So in the meanwhile, so like I said, you know, if you guys have any questions, soil, everything, all that, you know, medium, like, really get your questions in right now because she is really that person that'll be able to break things down, explain it to you. And I feel like this is a good opportunity for you guys, you know, to really learn a couple things and maybe ask questions. That all questions are good questions. There's no bad question. So whatever questions you guys have, feel free. And let me get her back up here. Oh, wait. There we go.
Sorry about that. I've been like running around crazy all day and I was like, fuck, I need water. So yeah, there are all these like old school genetics that he had been collecting for a long time and holding on to, and he provided them to me. You know, there's a Chili Verde, there's the Trinity, Northern Lights, Durban Poison, and then his Alpha Skunk creations. And I also crossed it onto my Lunar Cheese, which is got like the staple of my line, which is DJ Short's Blueberry on Kryptonite crossed onto UK cheese. And that UK cheese is also a skunk phenotype also. So it's kind of like within the same family still. So those are the 7 crosses that we made. And we did all feminized. Grew it all in living soil in a mixed light depth. So it's mostly sunlight, but also, you know, at times of the year, whatever, we augmented a little bit and we depth a little bit too. Yeah. So they're super awesome seeds. They're nice and fat. I have some right here.
So these are all feminized. So is this line released yet?
Yeah, it's released. So it's on the Seed Savers Club.
Okay.
Oh my God. I don't know if you can really see them, but anyway, they're nice and fat. I germination tested them and had 100% success across the board. Super vigorous. I posted a video about it too. It's in one of the videos I posted. You can see the tap roots and like the nice thick stems and stuff. They're super vibrant, vigorous. But yeah, we did all feminized for this round.
So the phenos that you guys have been finding, are they super skunky?
So our intention was to create like all the different like spectrum of skunks scents, you know. So there's like that acrid, you know, skunk. There's like the roadkill skunk. There's like that really like, you know, the decomposing one is like that roadkill. And then there's like pungent, we got earthy, and then it leads into like fruitier and even more like piney and earthy. And then the Lunar Cheese is kind of like, it's a little outside the box because it has that blueberry in it and that kryptonite too. So it's like the lunar skunk is like outside the box of that spectrum really, but we try to incorporate all that different skunk like aroma profile like between all of them. We try to capture each bit of it because there's there's an array of different skunk aromas.
So okay, are these phenos like is that what they're named? Like, did you name it RK? You know, is it RKS? So when people want to get this, like if they want the roadkill, that type of pheno, is that going to be something where they have 7 different options? And is that
So yeah, they have descriptions and stuff where we explain the profile. And so that's on skunkglobalgenetics.com.
What do we got? This is I could put the questions up there on the screen
Biggest plant?
when they come in. So
Biggest plant I've grown.
yeah.
So I wonder if I could. Can I screen share on here?
Can you see at the bottom where it says see? I don't know how the screen looks from your side. There's a preset.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Hold on, give me a second.
And you should be able to. Yeah, there's a screen share there. I think as long as you have it up and you do screen share, you can see what it says. So you should be able to. I think what it does is if you click on the screen share, it'll bring up the windows that are open in your browser, and you could click on one of those windows. At least that's how it is on my end.
Yeah. Did you get it?
Oh, I see. Okay, so I could put that straight up like that.
Yep. So that's the biggest plant I've ever grown. That was a creation of mine. So it's my genetic. That's my boyfriend at the time. And that plant was like 15 pounds. She was fucking huge. I think she was about 15 feet like in diameter.
I'm
and
saying
about
like
12 feet tall. So I bred my genetics to get really wide. They tend to have like their side branches be the same height as like the top branches or close to it. And you can kind of see that reflected in this one. Those lower branches and stuff, they're really shooting up on the side. That's a characteristic that I really like, and that I selected for, and that you see in that's my cheese line. So that wasn't, I didn't work the skunk line myself. These were all things that were hunted by Frank at Purple Caper, but my cheese line exhibits that trait.
And that line is all your line. That's the line that is your line.
Yeah, that's my line.
Right.
No, that's not a collaboration with anyone else. That's just me that I've been working on for I think it started in like 2014.
So okay, where can they get, if they wanted to go, like the Seed Savers Club is through Skunk Magazine. I think we already said that. If they want to get your seeds, like some of the lunar cheese or any of that, where is the best place? Do you have a website? I don't remember.
I've been working on getting it up. I've been kind of crazy busy. But no, I don't have a website up right now. You can just hit me up directly and we'll figure it out. But yeah, I still got a bunch of those too.
And so your line is the lunar cheese. What else do you have available?
On my cheese line?
Yeah.
So I got my lunar cheese. I got the raspberry moon cheese. I got moon diamonds. I have Cheesehead OG. My lemon guru cheese. I think I'm all out of the chem cherry. And then I have cherry ice cream pie or ice cream cherry pie. Moon cheese gelato.
Those are all to the UK cheese. Like that's what the cross was that you use in there.
Yeah. So that's all. Besides the lunar cheese, everything is lunar cheese on other stuff. So like my raspberry moon cheese is on animal cookies. The lemon guru cheese is lemon guru kush on lunar cheese. Cheesehead OG is deadhead OG on lunar cheese. I'm literally looking at my seed packs right now. Moon cheese gelato is on gelato 41. Then I got one on diamond OG.
All right. Yeah. I've had so many people ask me for cheese lately, and I don't know why. I have to like make sure that I start to send everybody to. I've had a lot of people lately. UK cheese, this, that. I'm like, I just don't. And I want to make sure I'm going to start sending everybody to you. They're going to be DMing you, but I'm going to start sending everybody to you. So, hell yeah. All right. So what else do we got, guys? Let's see. How's the thing? No, that's not me. That real cool. Sticks in your mouth for hours. Hey, Luna, Brandon, Winter.
What, Brandon? I haven't seen you in a long time.
What? Any thoughts on? Okay, here we go. Any thoughts on JADAM, JADAM burst? Traditional KNF, is one better than the other, or have more benefits in your opinion?
So everything's different, right? I personally don't do JADAM. I think that JADAM has a time and place and an application. I think JADAM is really useful for people growing in native soil. Same with KNF. For like remediating native soil on a large scale for very inexpensive. I don't really think that they have huge importance in custom built like soils that people use like in beds or in like smart pots or just regular pots, whatever. Some people like to do it. I personally don't like to do it too much. I use some KNF things in my living soil practices, but I don't use any JADAM stuff. So like JADAM, you'll be able to take very low cost inputs like leaf mold and add, like potato starch and stuff like that to make your microbial inoculants, which is extremely inexpensive. It's great for like super large scale when you don't want to go out and get like earthworm castings, or you don't have the capacity to go get earthworm castings. If I have access to earthworm castings, quality castings, I would much rather go get a quality casting and make my inoculant out of that than leaf mold. And that's just my preference. I wouldn't say that one is better than the other. I'd say that they just have different functions. Like, so KNF is really dependent, and like the staple of KNF is indigenous microorganisms, the input called indigenous microorganisms. And it's a rice that has been partially cooked, not fully, and then used as a substrate to collect native microbes in a certain, in an area, right? Usually people go out into the woods, they find a place with like mycelium, they put down their rice, they collect the microbes supposedly after the rice will like form the pseudohyphae, which is mucor or rhizopus. It's a zygomycetes. And that particular brand of biology is present in like all soil, and it'll form pretty much regardless, especially in like a custom built soil that has like really high end amendments and stuff in it. It would be really good in like a kind of dead soil to use that kind of practice, but in like a custom built soil, I find it to be rather redundant and just potentially introducing things that you might not want. And that's my opinion, and some people might get really mad at me for saying that. But I just try to keep it as safe and consistent and eliminate as many variables for mistakes as possible. And I think when you start playing around with that kind of stuff, you can make mistakes. You can make IMO incorrectly. You can collect biology that you don't necessarily want to introduce or multiply in water into your soil. And you can get things like, crown rot or, pythium, stuff like that. However, if made correctly, mucor is a great holder of microbes. Mucor can have tons of different microbes in it. And also mucor can form symbiotic relationships with mycorrhizae and extend the surface area of mycorrhizae, 10 to 100 times. So we know how mycorrhizae will create symbiotic relationships with root zones and kind of, expand the surface area. Mucor does the same thing. It attaches onto mycorrhizae and then makes it, even further expand the reach for like nutrients in the soil even further. And it breaks stuff down, it secretes enzymes, it secretes carbohydrates and amino acids and stuff. So it helps cycle nutrients and break stuff down. But that will form kind of regardless in a soil that's like properly built anyway. So I don't really use IMO. I don't really use JADAM. I do use like fermented plant juices and stuff like that, which is a KNF practice. I also will make like a calcium acetate, which they call water soluble calcium, but I make it a little bit differently than they do. So I use a lot of KNF approaches. I just kind of put like a little twist on it. And I'm totally rambling here, but I'm just gonna keep going.
Keep going.
So
beet
like,
juice. Did we talk about beet juice? But keep going.
We'll talk about we'll get into beet juice for sure. I'll make
Okay.
a, I'll tie the beet juice conversation into the KNF conversation. Just give me,
I felt like it was. I felt okay. Yeah. No, I'm just here. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. It'll come in. So like water soluble calcium is a input that they make where they they take eggshells, they pull like the membrane out of the off the shell. I forget the scientific term for it. Then they cook the shells, you crush them up, and it creates a calcium carbonate. As you cook it, you now have like a source of calcium carbonate. How much you have, who knows? But it's there in the eggshells, and you add vinegar to it. And so you're taking an unknown amount of calcium carbonate and you're adding vinegar to it, which is acetic acid, and you're creating calcium acetate, right? So this is like a real chemical reaction. There's like real science behind this process. But I personally just skip the whole collecting eggshells part and peeling them apart and cooking them apart. And I'll just go get calcium carbonate because it's argonite, right? It's a common input that's used in soil building, and I can get 99% calcium carbonate, and then I can do the exact calculation based off of like the chemical formula to make calcium acetate, and I know exactly how much vinegar I'm going to add to the percentage of calcium carbonate that I have and create calcium acetate in a very objective and calculable value, calculable. Quantifiable outcome. And so like I'll do that kind of stuff. I have a video on my Instagram too. It's called making calcium acetate or something. I go over the process and I list the formula too. At least I think I do. I'm pretty sure I do. Another input that they use is OHN, which is Oriental Herbal Nutrient, right? And that's kind of like a prebiotic source, which I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of OHN. That's one that I use a lot because the science behind it's pretty solid. So what it is, it's prebiotics in the form of polysaccharides. And I talk about polysaccharides all the time. And this is how I'm going to tie in the beet juice conversation, because beet juice is a really high source of inulin, which is a polysaccharide, a prebiotic that feeds bacteria, it feeds biology, it feeds lactobacillus really well. But it feeds all biology very well. So beet juice is one of my favorites to use. But tying that back into Oriental Herbal Nutrient, there's a diversity of inputs. There's garlic, there's angelica, there's cinnamon, there's licorice. There's one more. God, I forget. Anyway. Yeah, whatever. And they mix them all together. And it's like a diversity of polysaccharides and polyphenols that set the stage for a diversity of biology. So that's a lot of the stuff that I focus on, is using polysaccharides, polyphenols in creative sources to encourage diversity of biology, which then allows for a diversity of other, secondary metabolites that biology produces. And that diversity allows for the cofactors for different volatile compounds, which are our aroma compounds and our psychoactive compounds in the cannabis plant, to grow really good weed.
I mean, yeah, there you go. Really good weed.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, flavonoids, terpenes, like this is all, that's basically where we're going with that.
Phenols, esters, thiols, sulfur compounds, all the things that make up the smell, and not just terpenes. Yeah.
Well, the flavonoids also. So terpenes, both.
It's all it's all within the volatile organic compounds category.
So you make, I mean, obviously, you make your own soil. That's all, I'm sure, living organic. Like if people want, say they wanted to grow like you, is there a place where they can find, I'm sure it's on your page, and I'm just trying to point people to your page. I want to make sure, everybody that's in here, make sure you guys follow her if you're not already, because I think a lot of that stuff's on your page. But is there other places where you are, like you're on? I think somebody asked, are you still on, where was it?
FCP?
I can't remember. What was it?
Future Cannabis Project?
Or do you have a
Patreon?
Yeah, Patreon.
Yeah.
That's
So
what
my
it was.
Patreon's still up. And I've been active on it while I've been kind of missing on Instagram. But my Patreon is still a thing for sure. And I've been adding to it for, a long time now. And there's just tons of information on it. I'm adding to it all the time. I have research papers. I have my own write-ups. I have books and PDFs and, discussions between people asking questions and things. We go over, there's tons of categories here. I can just bring it up real quick too. Oh wait, no.
So how could they go to your, where can they find a link to it?
The link's in my bio.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure we point people there because, there's only two people I've come through here that I feel like are just super knowledgeable. And one of them's you, and the other is Brandon Rust. Like I love having you. I mean, I've had you on once, but I really do appreciate, your knowledge. And I think it goes, it goes a long way. There's not many people out there that are really sharing as much education as you guys. And I know, like you said, you haven't been, on Instagram much, but the Patreon, and I feel like people should go make sure that you guys subscribe to it. Like, do you have a Discord or no?
Yeah. So the Discord is connected to the Patreon. So you sign up for the Patreon, you get access to the Discord, and that has all my content on there. There's like 100 different channels or something, and it's all different categories. We talk about composting methods, thermophilic, mesophilic, black soldier fly, beetle, cricket, all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for bringing a female on. You're welcome. Don't see enough women in the industry. I agree with you on that. Would love to know if you know other women in the industry you could recommend. And I'm not sure what the recommendation would be for, but other women in the industry you could recommend was the question.
So first of all, I got to shout out to my girl, Queen of the Sun Grown, Alex. We did a podcast together for a little bit. Her and I have pretty similar content. And we discussed a lot of different concepts inside the podcast that we had for, it was at least a few months. And then we decided to leave the channel. And I jumped on Future Cannabis Project. Another one is Murphy Murray. Also my homegirl. She's a badass extractor. And we did some work, writing cannabis license applications. And Dr. Pepper Hernandez is always a big one. Who else do I really want to give a shout out to? I have a lot of people that support me and women in the industry that really support me. Those two are probably my closest friends that are in the industry, the females in the industry that are really crushing it.
Okay. Let me see. Luna has space. Go to her Discord. Join it up, man. You don't have to ask. I have space for one more Discord. Can it be yours? I'm sure it can be.
Sure can.
Come on in. Are you still doing your FCP program? Always great information.
So when I took my break from Instagram, I took a break from FCP too. I was feeling really overwhelmed with all the stuff I was doing. But I am getting back on FCP. I talked to Peter. I think I'm going to do my next show this coming Friday. Not tomorrow. Wait, what is today?
Today is Thursday.
Today's Thursday.
Today is Thursday.
Not tomorrow. But a week from tomorrow is going to be my first session back on the FCP. And then I'll be doing them every Friday at 5 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll have that back up.
And you're doing the Future Cannabis Project too, and that's Chad? Is that Chad?
That's Peter. That's Peter's
okay.
Peter's channel. So
okay.
Yeah, so I'm doing the show is on the Future Cannabis Project, and
that's cool. Yeah.
I try to do my show a little bit different, where the highlight of the show is we bring on co-hosts. I'm not calling them guests, I'm calling them co-hosts because I'm actually cycling through the same people that I think are very knowledgeable, that have a really solid understanding. I was doing a podcast a while ago on a different channel, and we kept trying to find new guests and stuff. And sometimes we would bring on guests and they would just say shit that was wrong. And that was just way off base, and I'd have to like kind of gently correct them or just change the subject so they stopped talking about what they were talking about because they were giving out really bad information. And so what I try to do is I try to find like 6 or 7 people that we cycle through, and to keep the content relevant and diversified, each time we would take a research paper, like a white paper. We'd both read it, and then we would discuss the contents of the white paper. And each person would have like a different category, like Murphy, she did like extraction, right? So whenever she came on, we would bring up like an extraction kind of relevant research paper. Or I would bring on my buddy Tim, and he's like really knowledgeable about soil and soil building. And so we would do like soil building. And then like, my buddy who's an organic consultant, we would kind of go into more like infrastructure stuff and how, like environment like affects things. And so we would keep it kind of like broken down into different subjects, but have different research papers that covered more content for each one. And I think that worked really, really well, instead of like having a hit or miss on our guests. It was just always like hit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know how this. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you know. yeah.
It just does. Like I have to, there are definitely times where, I'll bring people on, and bad information is bad information. That's not what we want. We want to give good information always. So, correct information. Here we go. Can you talk about your McFlurry for a second, please? I got the F2s.
Don't have any of those left.
I think you said I got the F2s. I think you said
the McFlurry is the name. Yeah. Hey, look, I think I have one left. So the McFlurry is the name of the genetic that I use to make the cross, and it's a McFlurry on McFlurry. So this is that genetic that like 5 pound per light one that I was talking about that I used to cross on to Tony Leva's Mary's cherry. I got one of the last 2 packs from the guy who made it, and I feel like an asshole for getting Jonathan Covert Genetics. Fuck.
Oh, Covert.
I think
it does ring a bell. Actually.
I think that's his name, but he had it back in like, I think it was like 2020. I got it like during COVID because we were in lockdown, and like he was posting it on Facebook kind of back before I was even on Instagram. And I was really active in like the cannabis cultivation groups on Facebook, like the PFA and the organic cultivators and the KNF group, before everything died on Facebook because Facebook is now dead. But so the McFlurry was his cross, and I asked for his permission to work the line further, and he was like, yeah, go for it. Just, like kick me some seeds. And I was like, yeah, no problem. And so that's what I did. I worked the line a little bit further. I got kind of a more like spicy, gassy smell out of it, because it was pretty sweet. But it still has the really, really vigorous, really tall growing, really high yielding plant. It's one of those plants that you shouldn't grow with anything else in the same bed.
Right.
Because it's going to tower over them. It just explodes. But I think I have.
So is this one right there, right?
One.
That's it right there?
No, that's not it. That's actually
not it.
That's my moon glue.
Oh, okay, my bad. I like.
No, that's all good. That's all good. And that genetic I have to bring back. I had seeds of it. I sold a whole bunch of them. I sold all of them, and I didn't keep any because I just fucked up. But I have some of the older ones that I need to like go through and pop again. And I kind of gotta recreate it. But
that's the thing, man. I see it happen a lot now, and it's funny because I have breeders come back to me. Even today, I had somebody Fresh Coast. Hey, man, do you still have a pack of blah blah blah? I'm like, no, fuck. Yeah. So
it happens.
Recreate it.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Luna? Let's see, what do we got? You can see the question on the side, right? I don't know how your screen looks. I'm just curious if you could see the,
yeah. Sorry, I didn't have it clicked. I had it clicked on the private chat, and I was like, where are the comments?
Oh, okay. So you can see them now. So I'm just sort of, trying to scroll through them, just put up the ones that seem like, there's not so. I mean, we've gone through some of it, but like I said, you guys, any questions you guys have, feel free because I can, and you guys on the Instagram, I'm just gonna say this again. I cannot see your guys' questions. We see only YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. I can look down. I do have it open. So we'll try to read your questions from Instagram, but the way for some reason, the way this app works so far.
I wonder if I can.
Instagram, the Instagram questions. We don't, you can see the little logo next to it, so we know what's what.
I can. But if I click it, then there's gonna be an echo.
You want me to put that up? Is that the same thing you just said? Is this something different?
What? What are some of my wait? What? Oh shit! No, no. That's just my Instagram. That's just my Instagram.
I'm like, okay.
I was considering clicking our stream, and so I could see the comments on there. But then I realized if I click it, I'm gonna get the audio from us talking, and then it's gonna loop back into my microphone. And it's gonna like fuck everything up. So I'm not.
Yeah, I actually have it open with the volume down. It doesn't seem bad. I mean, there's only like 13, 14 people over there right now, but I'm trying to keep up with it. Okay, so let's see. What do we have over here? This might be somebody Mystic Marks will set up. Yo, shout out Stage Fright. It's a Stage Fright. I'm still doing good, girl. Keep having fun.
Thank you.
What do we got? What up, Luna?
What up?
Oh, so I know Raindrop just popped some of your gear. Yeah, got me some of the Cheesehead OG going now. Only seedlings though. Super stoked and having to find some funky cheese. And I know
that one's wicked. That one's wicked. People really, really love that. And I have quite a few left too. If anyone's interested in those. I gotta go through my stash of things I haven't packed up because I'm pretty sure I have a good amount of other things too.
You sold me the last of them. Whoever that is, I have no idea.
The last of which one? What did I say the last time?
That's all. Yeah, you say
maybe.
And it's just YouTube users, so we don't even know. Okay. Bodhi. 3. Okay, so I have a male peach hash plant. 3 alternating branches instead of just 2.
Yeah, that's cool. I've seen that before. Sorry.
No, yeah.
So, from Bodhi. You're talking about asking Bodhi about it.
Yeah, I mean, I had him on before you, but I still feel like, anyway, to still ask. I thought you were asking a certain question about the form, the structure. I thought it was a structure question. So, yeah, I mean, we could figure it out. He's obviously gone now, but I mean, if you reach out to me on Instagram and remind me, I could reach out to him and we can get an answer. I thought it was more on the structure.
Real quick, those 3 branch, that characteristic, it'll grow out of it. That'll usually happen up until a certain size, and then it'll go away. I've seen 3. I've had 4 before. From like a single, whatever section on the plant, like where the nodes are, whatever, it has like 4, and they grow up 4 limbs. It grows out of it. It's cool, but it won't stay like that. And it won't happen consistently either from a genetic. Higher yielding strains. My Moon Diamonds, super high yielding. I got that one posted on my IG. Let me bring that one up real quick.
Yeah, that up there on the yielding.
There we go. Jeez, I make so many posts. Fuck, where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay.
Oh, there we go. Bam. Wait, let me get that off there.
So she's nice and frosty, nice and chunky, great structure, turns a little purple, gassy, cheesy, a little bit of like kind of grape, but also a little peppery. But like, look at that bud, like, next to my hand. Like, it's huge. Oh, maybe I can pause it on that.
Let's go. No, definitely huge. Some fat cola, some fat nugs.
I love that genetic. Look at that. Woo.
Oh yeah.
So that one's really good. The the lemon grew cheese, it doesn't have big buds like this, but it throws just tons of limbs and it grows super huge. And it's really high yielding too, but you're just not going to get like, you know, a hand-sized bud like that. You know what I mean? The Cheesehead OG is a really solid yielder.
There you go.
Those three are probably the heaviest yielders for sure. Everything else they're all solid yielders, but those three stand out for sure.
Okay, so there you go on the highest yielders raindrop. Any new projects on the horizon? I mean, I know that people come and go in here, so we can talk a little bit again, or at least let them know about the skunk project and where to go get it.
Yeah,
I feel
sure.
like, let's let them know, and make sure you guys give her a follow. If you guys are on Instagram, once I pull this question down, you'll see her handle right there. So you guys make sure right there, you guys go follow her and hit her in the DMs. Go buy some seeds from her. Go support. I always tell you guys that.
So the Seed Savers Club is where you can get the skunk line. And that's skunkglobalgenetics.com. And I brought the site.
Let me put this up. So what is it now? It's skunk. Okay,
globalgenetics.com. I can drop it in the private chat too. And I have the website up on my screen if you want to just do the screen sharing thing too.
Oh, I think I spelled it wrong. Skunk. You don't see it yet. Okay, there we go. Global. Yeah, there we go. All right. So I'm going to put up the site so you guys can go there. It'll be scrolling on the bottom in 1 second. There we go. All right. So at the bottom of the screen, skunkglobalgenetics.com, and you guys can go. The Seed Saver Club is there. I know I talked to Julie a little bit, and I think that she might want to come with whatever his name is. She was talking about having maybe you both come back or her come back or something like that, so we could actually do a whole, so we could get more into it. But since we're already talking about it and the site's up, I feel like you guys should go, check out what's on Skunk Magazine at that site right there. I'm not sure exactly the way the Seed Saver Club works. We didn't really talk about that, but you guys should go check it out for sure.
Yeah, all the skunk stuff is on the skunkglobalgenetics.com. That's the Seed Savers Club. That's Skunk Magazine's seed bank. Our project is the only line that's been released so far, but there's going to continually be things added to it. Oh, dude, it'd be perfect. So Skunk lives in Frank lives in NorCal, right? And the lunar cheese, it was mostly bred in I don't know if anyone knows where the Concow area is, but it's in NorCal also. It's not on the coast. It's a little further inland. It burned down a couple years ago, but that's where a lot of the line was outdoors in NorCal, kind of like further inland. And it, did really well on like high heat, high humidity. And the original cross, the DJ Shorts Blueberry on Kryptonite was like legendary out there in Concow. And that whole area burned down. And so I still have that genetic like alive in my line. And everyone that I've asked that lived out there that had it doesn't have it anymore. I don't know if anyone has it at all, but it was like this legend. People called it Blue Night. That was out there in Concow. So it was hunted in NorCal and it was bred in NorCal. It'll crush in NorCal for sure.
Yeah, I love that. I do. I mean, we had conversations about this as well. So, outdoor bred. If you're in that, if you're there, it's probably gonna, like she said, it's gonna do really well.
Yeah.
Luna, did Atlas Seeds run their super sour runts as part of their future cannabis project?
I have no idea. I don't know. Like I do my podcast with Future Cannabis Project, but I'm not tied into everything that they do or everyone involved in it. It growed after 13 nodes, and then that's when I topped it. Yeah. 530. That's right. Those are my stomping grounds. 530. My favorite from the new skunk drop. I'm not going to be biased and say it's my lunar skunk. I'm not going to do that.
You just did though.
No. I'm not. No. I just noticed something on the website. Anyway, so the Alpha Skunk 21R2 is wicked. The Durban skunk, that Durban that was hunted out of 100 seeds, the tissue culture clone that we used to make it was like angelic. It was just fucking incredible. It was the best urban poison I've ever seen, smelled. And I kept the clone around. And then those two are super fire. The Northern Lights one too, like these old genetics that Frank had been holding on to for, I think it was over 10 years in tissue culture. They were unbelievable. The Northern Lights one, the Durban poison one, and then the Alpha Skunk 21R2 are like, they're super fucking good. So the best one, it kind of depends on like what you think, flavor is the best. If you want to hit me on IG, we can talk about like what profile you think is the best in like a skunk expression. We'll figure it out for you, and I'll help you out and I'll point you in the right direction. Those three to me really stand out. The Trinity skunk is super old school. And it's not quite a profile that I like, but I know a lot of old school heads really like it. I'm not.
Yeah, you didn't hear the conversation right before you came on, and we literally, this happens all the time. We were just talking about the Trinity because I had Green Bodhi on, John, and some of the stuff we did that, we just dropped some of his stuff. So anyway, we just had a conversation about the Trinity. We just were talking about the NL5. Some of these things we like, that conversation led into this conversation. It's pretty cool the way things happen sometimes.
Nice.
And that Trinity is super skunk. It is very on the skunky side. So
yes,
the Trinity is just great.
Definitely. It's more of like the rotten carcass one. It's like kind of like decomposing, kind of, oh, thank you. Are you growing it?
Are you growing it? We'll get through it. Here, wait.
That was amazing. Yeah. I wish I had that original one. Yeah, the blueberry is super amazing. That blueberry trait like comes through in my cheese line. It's just such a strong characteristic that it really breeds true. Jasmine ferment. I don't think anybody makes a jasmine ferment. So I actually bought a bunch of jasmine plants earlier in the summer, and I'm growing a bunch of them right now so I can make it myself. Oh, you're going through them so fast.
Yeah. Well, some are just high. I just wanted to throw them, Yeah,
it's all good. The jasmine ferment, that's a tough one because like jasmine flowers don't have much like substance to them. So for someone to grow enough jasmine to make a ferment, they probably wouldn't even make enough to be able to like wholesale market it or just put it on like a retail shelf. I'm growing a bunch of it just so I can have it, because I really want to start playing with it, because jasmonic acid is a very potent phytohormone to harness.
And is that something that you press? Like, is it pressed, or I mean, it must. I love jasmine, so it just must smell so good.
Yeah. So, are you familiar with jasmonic acid?
Not particularly.
Okay, so it is a phytohormone. It's a stress response hormone, and it happens when any plant is masticated. It like creates this chemical reaction within the cells that tells the plant that it's being like attacked. And so like this is kind of what happens when when insects will attack a plant and they'll start to grow faster, if they're not like overwhelmed, if the plant isn't overwhelmed, or if like an animal comes and eats the plant and then the plant's like, I'm gonna die, and it, like jasmonic acid is then created in the plant, and then it boosts its, growth rate, right? Jasmonic acid can be harnessed from different plant inputs. So like premature apples will have a lot of them. Premature berries have a lot of it. But it's in a lot of different stuff. It's usually in higher concentrations in premature fruit.
Gotcha.
But the compound itself is called jasmonic acid because it's mostly in the highest density created in jasmine flowers.
Okay.
And you smell it. And plants will communicate through volatile compounds, like aroma. They communicate with smell. There's this scientist, I forget who it was, but he was saying, if aliens came to Earth and looked at like what the most commonly spoken language, that's on the planet Earth, it would be terpenes and volatile organic compounds, because bacteria, biology, plants, they all communicate through volatile organic compounds, and terpenes being one of them. And jasmonic acid is one of those compounds. So like the smell of jasmine actually will influence growth rates of plants around it. And so collecting a jasmine flower to harness jasmonic acid, you would just have like growth spurt in a bottle. You know what I mean?
love it. Yeah,
It's
I
pretty
love
fucking
it.
cool.
That's very cool. Like
so-
that's yeah.
So I do it with premature blackberries, because there's a lot of blackberries grown in Oregon.
Right.
And also it has like this really cool smell, and I think it brings out like a berry aroma even, because when I use it, I notice like things are more berry. But where to find jasmonic acid ferment or jasmine acid or jasmine ferment? I don't think there is a place, but I'm trying to make some for myself because I've never actually made it, but it would be really cool if you could.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Skunk
I'll
strains
leave that
watch.
question up there.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have information on the percentages of the skunk strains being washed.
Okay.
But the roadkill terp, go with the Trinity skunk.
Yeah, the Trinity for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because of the conversation, how skunky Trinity is, it seems like that would be the one if you're going for skunky, roadkilly for sure. And that's just because I know what the Trinity is.
Mm-hmm.
What do we got? Oh, we're right here. Oh, here we go. Okay, perfect.
Nice. Yeah.
We'll go to this one.
Yeah, I mean, go for it. I mean, she's solid how she is, But yeah, I mean, if you want to make something new, do it.
Okay, how about this?
Pokeweed. Pokeweed's that one with like the berries on it. It grows up all like red and purple, right? And then it has like berries and stuff. I'm pretty sure that it has toxic. Oh, yeah. I was just about to say that. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's toxic. I didn't even read the comment.
Yep.
Do you really want something that's toxic made in a concentrated form that you have around that you play with?
Right. Yeah.
It's like you could make, like a poison oak ferment, and it might be really good for your plants, but do you really want it around? I don't know, man. This sounds like a risky thing to do. You could. Okay, so here's the deal. And I talk about this on podcasts all the time, but it's a website called Dr. Duke's Phytochemical Database. Dr. Duke's Phytochemical Database. Phytochemical and Ethnobotanical Database. Okay, so we're gonna look up the Latin name. We're gonna look up the Latin name for pokeweed, which is Phytolacca decandra. We're gonna take that and we're gonna put it into the phytochemical database. I don't have the phytochemical compound profiles for all the plants in the world memorized. So and nobody does.
Really?
Really? What is going on? Okay. Why isn't this working? Anyway, I'll just show you all the website. I don't want to spend too much time like going through this. Sometimes it can be tricky. We might just be able to call it pokeweed.
He also said mine's growing now, also because we evolved from plants, not monkeys. Nick from Ruta Leaf uses jasmonic acid. Oh, that's not the same person. Oh, it is. Yeah, in several of his nutrients is what he says.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, can you screen share what I'm showing? Oh, not that one.
No, I still have the same one. Okay.
Boop.
Yeah.
Boop. So you should be able to see it. How much time do we have? Oh, we're almost running out of time. This will probably be the last thing we talk about.
See, I told you. You said 30 minutes. I'm like, nah.
No, I was just curious if you wanted to do 30 minutes because I was unsure.
Nah. Yeah. But if anything, I want to do more, you know. But I figure an hour is good. I could always, you know, you'll come back. And we are pretty much at that, almost at that mark right now. But if you want to put that up, I'll screen share it.
Yeah, just throw it up there real quick. Because it really
I'm not seeing it on the, I'm not seeing it to screen share though. Did you throw it up there? Oh, there we go. I see it. Yep.
All right, so check this out. So I entered the Latin name into this website, which is just Dr. Duke's phytochemical database. You just throw that into Google, and it brings you to here. But so it shows you the phytochemical profile for the plant based on seed, plant, fruit, shoot, leaf, different compounds that are present in it. You can sort it by parts per million from lowest to highest, or by plant part. So like this is the profile of the phytochemicals in that part of the plant, right? And some of these are going to have, you know, like the ones in high parts per millions, you know, like glucose. So everyone knows what glucose is, right? We got anthocyanins. That's a really high one. Alkaloids. Let's see if we can find anything like really cool in the high parts per million. Water, amazing. Ascorbic acid, fruit, phosphorus, beta carotene, iron, niacin, riboflavin. So nothing too exciting.
No.
This is pretty standard for plants. We didn't see anything really cool like jasmonic acid or auxin, you know, indobuturic acid or anything like that. So I'd say it's going to have, you know, proteins. It has phosphorus in it, you know. So like if you needed it for phosphorus, you know, it'd have phosphorus in there, some you know, iron, or carbohydrates, you know, just to feed the soil and stuff. But as far as like giving it really like hardcore phytohormone boosts for specific growth processes, it doesn't seem very promising. So there you go. There's your answer.
There you go.
Ta-da.
And then, okay, we only have, we have like a minute. But let's are there alternative plants to jasmine?
Premature apples, premature berries
There
are the
you
ones
go.
that have really high jasmonic acid parts per million. You can also just throw jasmonic acid into this thing, into that database I just talked about, and it'll pop out like the ones with like the highest amounts.
Oh, there you go.
So if you're looking for a particular organic acid or phytohormone, you can throw it into this thing and it'll tell you. Even like nutrient, like if you're looking for phosphorus or potassium or calcium, whatever, you can throw it in here and it'll show you the highest ppm plants for that input. I use it all the time. It's a real badass resource for any natural farmer.
Okay.
The pre-flowering buds. So like on a cannabis plant, I wouldn't use a cannabis plant, but the premature fruits are going to have more jasmonic acid than a fully mature one will.
Man, there's a lot of stuff here still. Let me try to get through it.
Coffee.
I'll throw it up for you. I think we already talked. Wait, with the burnt coffee profile, I think that's a little different than he asked before.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know. No, not really. To be honest with you, I didn't really catch any burnt coffee profile.
Have you ever?
Not, so it's. Can I join the chat? Hold on. I have to connect my YouTube. Let's see if this works. Let's see if this.
Yeah, no, Skinnaman, I'm going to get you in here in a minute. I know you're up next. I see you. Just give us another minute or so. I just want to try to get through. You know, there's not many questions. We're almost at the end right now. The questions, at least. So
here, I posted the website link in the private chat. If you can post it in there, because I'm trying to like connect to.
Okay,
YouTube right now, but it's being stubborn.
So I could put this up. So you guys see that banner? I'm going to actually put this on the banner for 1 second here for you guys. And this is that
one, yeah.
So
yeah, whatever.
Bam. There you go. So now on the banner at the bottom, you guys can go follow and see exactly where and what she was looking at.
Yeah, methyl jasmonate. Okay.
Yeah.
It is going to be a good one. Yeah, for sure. It has tons of nutrient density. I don't want to keep the next person waiting too long. I
think that's pretty much it. You've seen wild tomatoes, similar potato plant. They look identical in flower. Okay, cool. All right. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate you. We're not going anywhere. I have Skinnaman going to come in right now. He's got the white room. He's actually, a grower, not a breeder, but we're going to talk a little bit about Atlas Seed Company and what he's got going in his room, and he's going to show it. So
sweet. Thanks so much.
Thank
man.
you.
I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely.
Take care.
We'll do it again before, maybe not 3 months down the road. So
okay, sounds good. Let me know when you're ready.
All right, you got it. All right, thanks, Luna.
Yeah, thanks so much. See you later.
All right, bye. All right, Skinnaman, go. Let us get us back. I'm gonna get us back on Instagram right now. I appreciate everybody. We still have one more guest coming on tonight, so don't go anywhere. Let me get us back onto Instagram because I always tell you guys there's only hour lives. I have to restart it on Instagram, and I'll do that right now. Skinnaman, come on in. Damn, I keep doing that. All you got to do is click a link. Get up in here. Let me get this off the screen. I need to do this. Hold on 1 sec. Copy. Let's go back on Instagram here. Here, I'm going to put up, actually, hold on. Let me get this going first. And then I'll need 1 second. There it goes right there. Man, I wish I had like 4-hour lives on Instagram. It would just make it so much easier. Because I know it's a pain in the ass to have to watch me go through and do all this shit. All right, here we go. Should be good now. Go live. All right, there we go. Skinnaman in the house. Let's go. I need one. I'm gonna turn my camera off. I just need like 20 seconds, just a straight. I just need Absolutely. 1 second.
I'll get that.
Well, welcome. Let everybody know who you are, if they don't already.
Sure, man. Yeah, we're on right now. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, we're on. Yeah, we're good. You're up.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine. Absolutely.
Perfect. I assume that means everybody else can then too. Yeah, my name is Jeff, but my online handle here is Skinnaman. I got this awesome grow room that I built with a couple of buddies of mine. And we ran eight 5-gallon medical buckets from the bucket company, and all my genetics are Atlas genetics on my right. I guess just left on the screen is Super Sour Runts, and on the left is Space Station. So yeah, it was funny because I asked Luna that question thinking that she had more direct involvement with the Future Cannabis Project. I didn't realize it was just like a thing she had on her podcast. But man, like that girl is like on the next level, man.
Right, she really is, bro. Like I said, there's two people that I really like when they come through because they just can answer almost any question you could throw, and like scientifically, like not just like no, like she breaks it down.
Bro,
And you're
when
like,
she went on about the jasmine ferment, I was like, okay, that's like
right?
That's a real understanding of things, not just regurgitating what you fucking hear with your bro science buddies and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like that girl's next level, man. So hats off to her, man. I was like, keep going, man. She's got good info. Like if you guys want to fucking keep going, by all means. But respect,
Yeah,
man.
I mean, I definitely will have her come back. Like that's the nice thing about doing what I do. I've been doing it for as long as I've been doing it now. People like her, like you, like Green Bodhi, like all these guys that I'm able to just like literally message and get them to come on. It's a cool thing. Like it just, like Green Bodhi and I were having that conversation a little bit about some of the people you look up to, like, and he felt the same way, and then you become friends with those people, and it's just it's cool to like the relationships that you make and the acquaintances and the friendships, man. They're like, it's what it's all about. The plant brings us together first of all, like
Absolutely,
it just does, and
it makes you a
the
better grower
education
too.
aspect of it. Yeah, the education
It makes you a
aspect
better
of it.
grower, right? Like you'll kind of get better together, right? The better
No doubt.
better players you play with, the better you get in the game, right? So it's a great give and take like that. And there's a lot of people, especially in the cannabis world, that are good teachers because they're willing to give the information freely to themselves. Like she was banging out with enough information, man. Like she doesn't have to do that. Like she can be like, pay me money to do this. You know what I mean? Like she's a real one.
Yeah, and she is like unique in the way where I have tried so hard to find female breeders. There's very few of them, man. Like I did this whole thing for like a month, and I tried, and ended up being a lot of female growers, which was great, but few and far between, man. Like there's few and far between female breeders out there, and especially someone like her, where she just has so much knowledge. It's fucking, blows my mind.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah,
it's nice
cool
to see.
having her on.
It's inspiring as a grower to, listen to somebody like that with such a depth of knowledge, and it makes me, again, like we were just saying before, it makes me want to learn more and do better myself in my room because I still consider myself very much a novice to like medium skilled grower. That to hear people with such an understanding of all the elements of growing and what goes into organics. Like I'm growing synthetic, but like it's just inspiring, man. So it's awesome to do events like this and shows like this where you get to come on and follow up with I get to babble on for a few minutes about my grow room here, but like you get to be a part of shit like that, right? Like it's amazing, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
So what's new with you, man? I was just gonna say, what's new with you? I see a lot of changes here. You got this YouTube thing going. You're on Twitch. You're on StreamYard. You're on the whole deal. Eh? You got the new background. I took a couple months off, so I haven't really been around too much. So I haven't really seen you. So it's good to see you like fucking blowing up.
Man.
Right.
We had it. I had to expand. Like Instagram is Instagram. Like people. It's just. It makes no sense for me to be on a platform when I'm doing things like this where people are, can report and all this stupid shit. Like here, I pay for this. Like ain't nobody report me. This ain't getting taken down. Like we are on Instagram right now. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all that. And it's just I'd rather do it. I could do the scrolls. Like I could have up to 10 people in here at a time too. We could have. Like we could have major, massive conversations, and I don't want 10 people because I feel like that's like, there's no way, we'd over talk everybody. But to have 3, 4, 5, 6 people, whatever, and be able to like do this, there's just all these different things that I could do with this that I can't do on Instagram, and the background.
It looked like you were showing one of her posts before as you guys were having the split screen there, right?
Yeah, we could, I could share, screen. We could do giveaway. There's a giveaway tool where it'll, there's a whole giveaway tool that I could use as well, which is it's just so much better than Instagram. And YouTube, I know there's people like I see the people on Instagram right now. Most of them don't want to come to YouTube. I don't know why, but whatever. But we could just bring so many more people together on here than I was ever able to do. And I know we see 67 people in here, but that's only showing whatever platform I probably hit on first. So that could be Facebook, it could be YouTube. I don't know. I guarantee you there's more people watching because there's 10, 15 people that are on Instagram. There's a lot more people watching than the numbers that we're seeing. And these will get, when I do it on here and I post it right to YouTube, the last couple have gotten like 1,500 views, 1,600 views, and they're there. You can go back, you can watch this information, you can revisit it. I think it's just, it's cool.
So. Yeah, for sure, and it's good information too, right? And the more people that can get exposed to it, the better off we'll all be, because at the end of the day, it's about elevating everybody as growers and giving them the best medicine for their needs, right? So that's amazing, man. I'd love to try some of her genetics. Not to keep jumping back to Luna, I'm not like a fanboy all of a sudden now, but I would love to try some of her genetics, man. I'll check out her site and definitely check that out. I think it was, what was the moon one? Blue Moon or Dark Moon or something like that?
Yeah, they just did this whole, I'm working with, I am working with Skunk Magazine where, we're doing like, collaborative, all this stuff, and she is part of that as well. So that really has brought a lot of us together, in my opinion. And, the skunk hunt, this whole thing that they did, I think it's very interesting because apparently, like she said, he's had this stuff in tissue culture. And it's cool to go back because, Green Bodhi as well, like the NF. I myself want to bring back and be able to offer some of this old school, some of these guys and girls and ladies and women, that have been holding these cuts for long periods of time, and people are, because I have so many people, where can I find this? Where can I find that? And then I come across people like Bodhi. This is where you guys can find this old school stuff. It's not the hype stuff. Like, yeah, he has some, hype mixed in and all that, and her with the UK cheese, like not many people are working with that. They're just not anymore. At least I just don't see it that much. So to have these options available to like, the community, I think is huge, man. Like I don't have her stuff on my site, I don't. And that's not ever what it's about for me. I just want to be able to give people other options out there and not like the typical bullshit, the scam. We see what we see. I see it all the time. I see these fools, like I see these guys on Instagram that literally I'll pop through and they're trying to sell you whatever they think is hype at that time. Or, I've heard a guy say, like 1978 Chem Dog one day, and I like almost like, no, bro, there was no Chem Dog in 78. Like, don't do that to the people. Like, it's just, I hate that, man. Like, I hate that. I want to try to bring like legit breeders, people with good intentions to like my community.
Absolutely, for sure.
And I know
You go ahead.
Well, I was, I know we spoke about Atlas a little bit, and I feel like I even got the Atlas hat on right now. I suck sometimes with, I just like, it is so difficult to be a one, it's just me. So it's so difficult to try to keep up on everything and bring new people and all that. But I like really want to give people, like those options as well. I just have to like, somebody needs to be on my ass is what it is. As long as somebody's on my ass.
I don't think it'll be long until you start getting some requests for it, man. Because honestly, like I see more and more people growing the gear out and having like amazing results across the board. So I've had amazing results. Everybody I know has had amazing results. We had a little bit of a weird hiccup during the grow off there, but it was with some unreleased genetics. So like it's not even an issue that'll be out in the public hands kind of thing, right? But like I've seen nothing but fire come out of their genetic catalog, and actually I don't have to dive into it in detail yet, but like we're gonna do another grow off soon enough, and it's gonna be with some of their auto lines, because their auto lines are super solid and they're putting like mad work into it, and they're not just like, I have respect for breeders that can do a lot in small spaces, but these guys are growing out fields of this shit. Like they're growing out like 15,000 and hunting from that 15,000, like narrowing it down and spending like a couple of years on these crosses, right? And like really like putting the work in and finding the best of the best. And people don't have a lot of faith in autos, but everything I've seen from Atlas as far as autos is fucking fire, man. Like it's crazy, right? So like it's cool to see breeders really putting in that work and growing things to scale and making sure that what they're putting out to public for release meets a really, really high standard. Like you got guys that are just taking somebody else's genetics, growing out 4 plants like I'm doing aside, hunting a male on this side, hunting a female on this side, and there's their release 4 months later, right? It's just fucking crazy. So
is that what you got going on? You're hunting for a male there as well?
No. I'm not doing any breeding. I'm just saying, like, there's guys that do that, right? Like, and that's
okay.
That's as far as they take it, right? Like, they'll do, a female from this side, a male from this side, cross them on their next round.
100%, bro. That's the problem. That's the problem. You have all. It's like I'm never being disrespectful to like the new breeders, but I'm just saying, like, if that's the way you guys are going about it, like, you know what I mean? And releasing seeds early and and untested and all that becomes a problem. It just does, If you guys are literally just hunting for one male, or you find a male and you're like, oh, let's like pollinate fucking everything. That's not really like, breed with intention, man. Breed like Bodhi, like the conversation we had,
Not everybody has access or the financial means to hunt down a 1994 Northern Lights number 5 cut, but like still you can find stuff with meaning, and like you're saying, like breed with intention, breed with meaning. Like don't just grab 2 lines and just slap them together. Especially if you're just grabbing, like, I'll just throw out a name here, like you're gonna grab in-house's genetics and just start crossing in-house shit, and then you come out with a seed line fucking 6 months later. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
But that's what I love about Atlas. Like, in fact, like this one on my left here, you're right, is called Space Station, and it was actually a result of their breeding outer space cake, which is Seattle Space Needle crossed with Foundation cake, and it was a little bit leggy. So they're like, how can we fix this problem? So the next time they ran the Seattle Space Needle. Sorry, I think I said Space Station before. But Seattle Space Needle with blue gelato, and that blue gelato like gave it a much squattier structure to it, right? And then that gave them like a bunch of successful runs, and then they released it to the public. So like it was a lot of work to even just get from one cross to breeding into new crosses from those crosses, right? And like taking the cuts and the work that they had hunted from those original crosses and now reworking them into new lines and seeing what they can do with other stuff, right? So it's nice to see that they're not just like doing one run or one release, banging it out, and then scrapping it all together and moving on to something else because they found another cut from Oregon or something like that, right? Like they're holding on to good genetics, they're working with those genetics into different lines, and then putting in the work from there, right? So it's nice to see that, because there's not a lot of guys doing that, especially to that kind of scale, right? Like they're up in California growing this, so they've got the luxury of the California climate and the whole reputation that comes along with NorCal and those kind of areas, right? But like, still, man, like it's totally, genetics. I'm in Canada. I'm growing these genetics for now my, I think fourth run in a row now that I'm growing Atlas, like all Atlas, and like everything is fucking. The structure's bang on, the spacing's bang on, the consistency is bang on. Like you get what you pay for. You know what I mean? So it's nice. It's really nice. And actually, I have all my outdoor plants right now are a variety of Atlas seeds. And they're just fucking like they're monsters, man. They just want to go, right? So it's nice. You really gotta go through their library and see what's the best for indoor and outdoor cultivation, because you get something like Tropical Cooler that's crossed with Blue Dream, and this thing wants to be a 2 pound plant all day long, right? So you gotta put it aside and let it go. But it's nice to have those options too, and know that there's variety, that you can grow monsters out in California. You can have short squatty plants inside that you need 36 inches of space for. You know what I mean? Like they put in that work, man. I like it. So it's good.
I saw their post the other day. I saw their post within the last 2 or 3, 4 days, and he was out on the field, and I was just like, okay, like that's what I want to see, bro. Like I'm not saying that's what. But it just gives you an idea, like how much, you know, how much effort is put into that. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it just does. Like when you see that, I know there's other guys out there that don't have as much room, you know, and like I see kind of research in the comments. So, listen, if you guys are on Instagram, I have to look down and see your comments. Just come to YouTube. Then I can put your comments up. We can read them. You know, we can see them. Like kind of research, you know, autos will come a long way. No doubt, bro. And this is on Instagram. There's like a handful. John and Luna are cool for sure. But, you know, there's just people out there who are really putting in the work the right way. And there's a lot of people that are not, you know, and I really try to be picky and choosy with the people that I work with and put on the site for sure. But when I see some of the stuff that Atlas has going on and the feedback, because I do see like all positive feedback. That's the type of people that I do want to work with. So,
yeah, man. And we definitely still want to like organize some kind of like have them on the show or something like that eventually, right? It's just everybody like I was struggling to make the 9 o'clock myself, man, because I still got the young kids, right? So I'm laying down with my son, and it's like 8:30, and my eyes are starting to close. I'm like, bro, you gotta like slap yourself silly here to get to the 9 o'clock. And I'm fine now that we're up and chatting, right? But like, I feel that everybody's in that kind of mode right now, where everybody can just fall asleep at 8 o'clock these days. It seems like, man, it's like life's wild,
yeah.
right? So, but that being said, like we definitely want to get down and chat and you know like. Just talk about the genetics. Like they're the breeders. I'm just growing this shit out. Like Adam's the one that you see out there in the field, fucking down in the dirt every day, living and breathing this shit, right? So he's the guy that's really like, you know, if you want to get down with like the genetics and dive deep into what they're doing out there, man, like he's definitely a guy that I'd love to introduce you.
Yeah, I mean,
even if it's on the show or just chatting in private, man, like just to introduce you to him and just, you know,
yeah, and I know
catch his vibe, you know.
You said Pennsylvania, like I want him to come on the show, man. I think he got sick. I think he got sick last time, if I remember.
Yeah. So Joe's in PA, Adam's out there in Cali, and then there's Liam out there in Cali. But Liam's kind of like all over the place. So he's kind of like the company liaison. So he's going, you know, internationally trying to get their genetics, you know, out into the world, right? So it's good to see, man. I have people message me all the time from all over the world. I had a guy just message me the other day from South Africa, and he's like, "Bro, I need to get these here. Like, I see you growing this shit out, and like every single run, I know you're a decent grower, but like every single run, you're banging it out." I'm like, "Bro, I'm not that good of a grower, man. It's just good fucking genetics. Like, my room does a lot of the work for me." Right?
It's a little bit of both, bro.
I was good. I was a good designer at the room. I'm just like, bro, all I gotta do is just hit that switch and make sure my EC is on point.
You have good people around you too, you know. There's always that, like, you know, to be able to ask questions, like, you know, Shark Mouse and whoever. Like, it's good to have people like, you know, like Luna, Shark. You know, all those guys are on that same, like, where you could sort of ask them anything, especially if it's like an issue or something in the garden, or like just, you know, direction on certain things. Like, they're gonna come up and give you like really good solutions. So it's, you know, not everybody has that. Like, it's just, that's why I like to do this too, and have people like that come around, because, you know, it just really helps a lot of people. Like Shark Mouse, I've had, you know, his girl, I've had her on. You know, I'd almost like to have him on at one point too. You know, I think it'd be cool to have him on as well. So
yeah, for
that's
sure.
a whole other, you know, that's a whole nother thing. But
I know he'd be into it too. Like, he and I did the grow off together, right? Just the one that was more recently, and like he's a busy guy, so he doesn't have, you know, the time to do all the lives and stuff like this that I was doing throughout. But like, he's definitely a knowledgeable guy, man. He's a deep diver. He's a deep thinker. The only thing I'll say about him is his ability to put everything down into layman's terms that the average grower that's, you know, 2 runs or 3 runs in is trying to pick up what he's putting down is a little bit difficult sometimes, right? Because he is so technically driven. Just to jump back for a second, somebody asked about my lights. That's why I put my camera down. I actually still have my, these are still the Grandmaster LED Bloom 6, but because I was getting such a high PPFD in the center of my room and my buckets are on the outside of my room, it didn't make sense to have it set up like that. So I actually split the lights at the 90-degree joint here, where you can fold your lights. I actually took that apart. It's just like a metal or a plastic sleeve-in bracket, and I reconfigured the lights to be able to hang, you know, parallel with my buckets. So it's the same lights. I just took them apart and rebuilt them basically. I'm never happy, man. I gotta keep on improving this space until it's like growing the world's best cannabis. So, yeah. But again, like they're good fixtures, but like somebody asked me the other day about my lights, and I was just like, man, like GML's got good fixtures, and he's come out with the whole multi-spectrum tuning and a controller to do that, which looks pretty dope. But like, why isn't everybody else doing it, man? You know what I mean? Like, it can't be that over and above what everybody else is doing, because otherwise, why isn't every other company in the fucking world banging out multi-spectrum lights? You know what I mean? So there's lots of guys making good lamps out there that have lots to offer other than GML. And that's not a dog on GML. I mean, fucking run his gear. I love his gear. It's just don't get caught up in the hype sometimes. You know what I mean?
They're so fucking expensive. Like it's you know.
That's the other thing too, right? Everybody's kind of set the standard as paying $1,000 not for a decent fixture now. It's just like, bro, like that's madness, man.
Yeah.
These guys are giving away for free to fucking sponsorees, you know what I mean? Or sponsees, I should say. Like,
Definitely,
the
bro.
math
Like,
don't math, man.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's people in here that run it. I know Raindrop just got, you know, I'm just, yeah, it's hard for me to like think about, you know, putting that kind of money out for something that, you know, is just, you know, it's
right?
I hate to say a light is light because
how much of it is just inflation right now too, right? Like,
yeah,
it's just madness, man. But at the same time, like, again, like, don't get caught up in that hype, right? Like, do your research. Compare your PAPFD concentration and your charts and your graphs and all that kind of shit and the spectrums, and like, you know, like I used to grow, and it wasn't that long ago, like just before I bought this room, I was growing with Spider Farmer lights and a lighting system. It was a company here in Ontario. Anyways, Equinox. The Equinox 1000. This thing was a fucking beast, but like I look at it now compared to all the pictures that are out, and you're like, it pales in comparison, right? But I was growing good weed, man. I remember I run a GG4 and it knocked my fucking ass off, man. So like, who's to say what's a good fixture and what's a bad fixture? You know, the only ones that I know are bad fixtures are the Amazon blur ones. Definitely stay away from those.
I'm just trying to see some of the questions. This is more for like, I'm new to breeding. You know, how do I ensure? I mean, there's no way to ensure you get femmes. I'm just going to tell you that. I think it's a little bit of I am wanting to bring back and also crossbreed with what would be the best method to assure I get femmes and back crosses. I mean, you have to work back crosses. There's no method to, you have to create, you know, you have to back cross your stuff yourself. And there's no guarantee on femmes, man, unless you go buy femmes. Yeah. But on older breeds, there's not really, you know, it's genetically determined, really. So that's pretty much it.
I am planning one day to get into breeding. I'm not necessarily like going to be breeding for release or anything like that, but like for my own personal use, like I'm holding some not rare genetics or anything like that, but I've got some good solid core genetics that I'm going to keep holding on to until I find that, you know, that right opportunity, because I would like to, you know, do a room of breeding here, even just with 8 plants. You can for yourself, you can get an amazing amount of medicine, and it gives you a chance to really, like that last question I was talking about back crosses, it really gives you a chance to go deep on that and develop something special, you know what I mean? And even if you don't release it, you know,
no
do
doubt
it for yourself, right? Like I got some seeds of Tropicana cookies that I'm just like holding on to, man, because I'm just waiting for that time, because I love those terpenes. And you know, they talk about the TCECs or something like that, Tropicana volatile compounds or something like that. Like it's such a beautiful taste and a beautiful effect. It's worth holding on to and trying to do something special with it down the line, right? So.
All right, so the questions are a little off topic. I'm gonna tell you. So, for you guys that don't know, this is Skinnaman. So he is not a breeder. He is, you know, we're showing his room. So, I'm not sure if he's doing 808. I see your question to him, and I'm not sure that's a, you know, he's not doing pheno. You're not doing pheno hunts. You're growing.
Just growing, right?
Yeah. So, you know, the idea was to come on and show his room and talk to him about growing a little bit. And he has a lot, no matter what he says, he has a lot of knowledge. And if you guys have any questions on growing, you know, ask him questions about that. The breeding aspect, Luna's good. You know, we already had Luna and we already had Green Bodhi on. So, but I mean, you know, we can switch the question a little bit to what inspires you. The question really was from 808. What inspires you during a pheno hunt? Is it terps? So, you know, maybe go to where when you're, what are you looking for? You know, what in the order, like not in the order, but are you going terps over effects? Like, you know, what are those things that tend to bring you back to maybe growing that same pheno?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I definitely, even though I'm like choosing from the Atlas catalog, I'm still looking through their catalog and choosing what I think is going to be best for me and doing research on what the flavors are, what the terpene profiles are, what the effects are. And I always gravitate to, you know, fruity, berry, orangey kind of terpene profiles. And I really like a very energetic, sativa dominant, you know, Jack Herer, early haze, those kind of buzzes that just make you. Some people say it's jittery, but for me, I'm a very talkative, high energy person, so I almost need that on par with me to you know, almost level me out, or almost to you know, be there with me kind of thing, so to say, right? So I definitely don't pheno hunt yet. Again, like I was saying before, I'd love to get into breeding and do a room of you know, regs and start selecting a champion male, a stud male, and then, you know, gather that pollen and then do another hunt with some females and select the best female and do my own crossing, right? But it's a long road, man. It takes a lot of expertise and a lot of understanding of the plants and genetics, and, you know, like you said, to breed with purpose and to breed with intention of releasing something special, or even if you're just keeping it for yourself. It's ultra important to not only pay homage to the genetics themselves, but know what you're working with and know what you want to do with it, right? Because otherwise you're just a fucking pollen chucker. You know?
Okay, so I think I caught on. I think you guys were talking in the comments, it looks like. So pretty sure that's what that was. But
Yeah.
what like do you recommend for a 4x4?
Oh shoot, man. I mean, like, when I had my 4x4, like I said, I was running a Spider Farmer light, and it was like the SE 5000 or whatever it was back then, and like that was a good light, man. Like, it had a dimmer on it. It ran hot as hell, but like if you're in a tent, you got your exhaust running, you should have some kind of you know, balance between your humidity and your heat to you know, bring your VPD into range or whatever. But like, honestly, for me, I'd be looking for the light that would take up the most of my tent. So like a folding rig like this from GML or Mammoth or HLG or whatever, man. Like, there's so many, but definitely something with a removable driver that you can take that driver and mount it outside of your tent. That's what I used to do with my XC5000. Is I actually had it mounted up in the the duct joist of my basement, because my basement was unfinished at the time. So like, definitely something with a removable driver, and then something, you know, with a dimmer too. And you know, tunable spectrum is a great bonus and all, but like, lights are designed with a full spectrum, you know, designed into it, right? So like, it's not like it's going to be a crucial thing. Like, there's been people growing on single spectrum lights for years and years and years with much success. You know, the industry that we know it as today, and cannabis that we know it as today, has all been grown off a single spectrum. Not that we're restricted to one spectrum, but it's all been grown off in either an HPS or whatever the case is, right? So, yeah, man. I honestly, like, look at GML, but GML right now doesn't have anything far from $1,000 and under, like, or over, right? So,
Yeah,
it's tough because not everybody's got a G note to spend on a light. So, you know, look for used. Look for, you know, take measurements of the inside of your 4x4 and hunt out lights that, first of all, fit the size criteria you're looking for, and then narrow it down to, you know, the best balance between spectrum, removable driver, and, you know, dimmer is important, and who's got the best reputation in customer service. And that's easy to find because all you got to do is go on Instagram and just ask a few people about the company, man. Like, it's quite easy. Go on some of their posts, check out some of the people who comment on their posts, good, bad, or whatever, and just fucking send them a message and be like, what's your experience with this company, right? I have people ask me about GML all the time like that. And that's why cannabis community, and especially like the online cannabis community, is so powerful. I talk about this all the time on my posts. It's like, we're so powerful because you can literally make or break a company, and these companies are small startups, you know what I mean? Like, GML is nothing more than a dude and his wife, importing fucking light fixtures from China. Like, that's all it is, man.
Yeah, and he worked with, I think, I did research on it way back when, because I was, I liked HLG. I run HLG still. I mean, I may, I do like the bar. So long story short is I found information that, he worked with, he worked with HLG and left HLG. And now it's this whole thing. And it's like, okay, you learned I'm just saying, like, just the facts. You learned everything from those guys. Yes, you went, but now you're like, it's cool. Like, I mean, I know people love them, and but at the same time, I feel like there's that, like, you're, I don't know.
But I mean, a good boss wants his employees to progress and be better than them, just like a good parent wants their kids to grow up and be better.
Totally,
than them, right?
I totally get it.
If he did it in a respectful manner and said, hey, I feel like I've reached the pinnacle or the top of this company where I can be, it's either I be CEO or I go and start my own thing, and they left on good terms and respectful and well wishes, all that kind of shit. But I don't think that happened, because when I saw HLG at a show, they were like, oh, you're Skinnaman, we wanted to reach out to you about our lights, blah, blah, blah. What lights are you running? And I said GML, and he kind of like made these eyes at me. He's like, holy fuck, my boss knew that. So like, there's something there, right? But like,
there was something there. There was a whole thing there. Like, and there was posts, and there was like, I saw, I really did some research, so I saw a lot of that shit. And then, there's the whole, listen, I'm not even going to go down this.
I feel you, man. I get you.
Because, I talked to I went out with Brandon Rust. He came to Philly, and he was with the Fosh guys, FOSHE guys.
Yeah.
I asked them a couple questions about certain things, and they broke it down, and I was just like, okay. And I don't really want to talk about it on here because I just don't. But,
it always comes out at the events, man. Go to those events, because those are
it was just like, damn.
Community, man. That's the washing machine, man. That's where it all comes out.
Yeah, and they were really good guys too. So
yeah, but again, like they are, and like this is no trashing his product, because they are good products, right? Like, it's just everything in the market right now is oversaturated, it's overpriced, it's over promised, it's under delivered kind of thing, right? So like, take your time for a 4x4 tent, man. You should be able to get a good light for $500-600 for sure. A really good light to grow some fucking bomb weed for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. For cheaper, way cheaper. Like you could go with the age, for a 4x4. I mean, shit. There's just a lot of options out there. Don't spend $1,000.
There's guys. There's lighting companies that are just coming to the States and that aren't even in Canada yet. Like, there's SAN LED. They're from Austria, and they're literally just slated in the States like this year, and they have amazing fixtures, like fucking some of the best shit I've seen, man. And they're like, they're really expensive, but they're like, the R&D they put into this shit is like, oh my god, man. Like, they're not just importers and resellers, right? Like, they're not dealers, man. Like, these guys are the factory. These guys are the ones making the diodes, fucking, running the aluminum.
They're all using the same diode. Like, listen, man, there's top shelf, there's top bin, medium, low bin. Like, they're all made in China. Like, they're all the same diodes. 100%. It's all basically this, I had the dudes come on once, and they said the light is the light. And there was some truth to it. Like, and it was a light company, and we did this whole thing, and, whatever. But there is some truth to that. There just 100%, is, because 100%. You're using Samsung diode, like, you're all, they're all basically using, you have different spectrums in the red and the blue. But, if you're using top bin, they're basically, that's what you want to look for. Just good diodes,
so
good driver.
Past that, it's like the driver, it's the customer service, it's the price, it's the, where they're located in the world, like all these things, right? Don't buy something from somebody who's like up in Yukon, and if you have to get a fucking part, for them, it's going to cost you $300 in shipping, right? Like, it's crazy shit like that. So,
right.
But anyways, about this question here about Papa Smurf, I have not grown the Papa Smurf. I actually considered that for this run. If you check out For the Love of Trees, which is Mad May, he actually won the grow off that I just did, the pink grapefruit grow off. He won the whole entire Atlas Genetics 2024 lineup. So there's like fucking like, I think it was 42 packs of seeds between autos and regulars. and Papa Smurf was in that, and I believe that he might be growing it right now, or he is going to be growing it. But that's one that's I definitely want to run that one, man, because like I was saying before about their intentional breeding, they've really come out with some ones that are really good washers, ones that they've run and tested and know that they're like 6% plus washers. So like, there's actually one called Laundry List that's known to be like a 6 to 8% return washer. So like, I believe Papa Smurf is another one that's on the list of a high return washer. So like, they're doing that work to make sure that, you know, you get what you're looking for. You know what I mean? If you're a hash maker and you're making concentrates and shit, like, they have 3 or 4 strains that are geared and you know, crossed and genetically modified, so to say, to cater to that. You know what I mean? So it's amazing.
Yeah, no, people want that right now. People are looking for washers, man. Percentages matter right now. They do. You know, a lot of guys are taking their flower and fresh freeze a lot. Like, I've had so many people come through with their gardens, and I'm always asking, are you guys harvesting for flower? And like 90% of the time now, no, fresh frozen. And I'm like, wow, like, you know, things have just changed. I like flower, bro. Like, I like both, but I still love my flower.
Bro, I've been seeing you smoke that pipe from day one, man. I love it.
Me too.
Right? Day one shit, man. And, you know, like, there's absolutely something to say for that. The stone is different. The stone is different from a pipe to a bong to a joint to, like, I can't smoke joints. I smoke one full fucking free paper to myself, and 20 minutes later I'm going for a bong. Because it just doesn't hit me the same, you know what I mean? Now, whereas if I go out somewhere, if I smoke a joint, I go out somewhere, like I go to a new event or I meet new people, I'm like, holy fuck, I'm high as hell. You know what I mean? So, like, cannabis is a really funny thing. You can never really nail down every time what it's going to do to you unless you're the one breeding it and you're the one creating it for yourself for your own personal needs and usage, right? So it's crazy like that. I really like this next question, man, because this is definitely something I can speak to. This is definitely something that I focus on in depth here in the room, and it actually plays a big part of how fast I can grow cannabis. And actually, just to let everybody know, like, this plant right here, I don't know if you can see this one right here, right?
Yeah,
she's still waking up. It just came up at 7 o'clock.
Here, I could give you the whole screen for a second.
Oh, sure. So these plants are only from seed, 29 days old. I pop the seeds, like I soak the seeds on August 1st. So like I'm growing like weed fast here, man. Like in 4 weeks, I'm from seed, I can flip these plants, right? So like high frequency fertigation plays a massive part in that, and I definitely utilize that in this room, especially with the buckets, especially with my automated irrigation system that I've created here. So just to let who is it? Hippie Stick. Just to let you know, beside this room here, there's another room that I call the control room, where there's 2 30-gallon tanks of water. One is a fresh RO tank, and then the second tank is my feed tank, and that's all connected with timers and pumps to do like a high frequency fertigation program with my plants here, right? So every week I'm increasing my EC as I go. I'm watching my plants for stress, obviously, but I'm doing, like, at first when they're young, I'm doing maybe 4 to 5 events per day cycle, and then I'll eventually start to increase that into like week 3 and 4. And once I see them really reacting to it and really like bursting out that fucking high growth rate, the high veg rate, then I know that, you know, they're setting the 5-gallon buckets and it's really time to like turn up the heat, right? So I'll go up to like pretty high EC levels just in veg, and then when I flip to flower, I'm running like CO2, fucking running high temps, CO2, or sorry, not high temps, but high CO2 levels, high PPFD, and with those high frequency fertigations, they go crazy, man. It's pretty cool to see. But you really got to, with the dry back side of things, you really got to balance your watering amounts to your dry back, and it's tough because with cocoa, you don't get a lot of signs from the plant that you're overwatering until you're like really overwatering, right? Because cocoa drains so well and it doesn't hold everything the same as soil does, so you don't get like that same lockout immediate response that you do in soil, right? So you really gotta watch your plants. And what I do is every week for 2 days at the end of every week, every feed cycle, I'll actually flush the plants out with like a really low EC solution, around like hypochlorous acid, just to keep everything clean and running through and keep those salts from building up and that kind of thing, right? So it's good because the high frequency fertigation plays a big role in keeping everything clean and moving through. But then you can overdo it too because you're in cocoa and you think, oh fuck, it's cocoa, I can just fucking water forever and it's never gonna, overwater these things. But it does. So you got to have that balance, right? So what I did with these 5-gallon buckets is when I first started up everything, I ran tests and I would do volume tests and I would slowly increase until the plants started showing a little bit of overwatering, and then I would scale it back from there, right? So right now I'm doing like it's 2 liters per plant per day, split up into those, or sorry, what am I saying? 2 gallons per plant per day, split up into those 4 to 6 events, right? So I know it's a lot to follow. I know I just said a whole shitload, but by all means, DM me on Instagram if you want to talk more about it, because I love talking about how the room works and how we're able to kind of like get shit to grow so fast here, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think he already said, but I'll put it back up there.
These are the Bloom 6 from Grandmaster LED. Bloom 6. Right now, I think these are one of his cheaper fixtures because he's come out with all the new stuff, all the board, the controller, the multi-spectrum tuning, all that kind of stuff, right? So those are all like running, I think, close to $2,000 a fixture, even some are over $2,000, I think. But the Bloom 6, I believe, is right around $900. So it's still a pretty expensive fixture. It's got a dimmer. It doesn't really jive well with controllers and stuff like that, so you can't get like a Troll Master. You can't get his existing controller for it. It's got a dimmer, but you can't program it at all. So you can't do like sunrise programs. It's just on off, and you have to control your wattage by the dimmer on the drivers. The nice thing about it is they do have extra long cords that you can get. So I was able to take both my drivers and mount them in that room beside my grow room, so they're completely separate from this room. They have a fan on them, keeps them cool. And then when I want to turn up my lights, I don't have to necessarily come in my room to do that. I can just turn my lights up, monitor all my PPFD from my pulse hub, and then it's all tickety-boo, right? So yeah, man. See, like, there you go. HLG is a good fixture, man. Like, they have fucking good fixtures. Like, they've been around for a reason. I hear a lot of bad shit about their customer service, but honestly, man, like, that comes down to the rep. That comes down to the fucking rep. And I'm a sales rep. Like, I sell windows and doors for my 9-to-5 job. And I've been at companies where the company has a shit reputation. It's not because the company's bad. It's because that sales rep's a fucking goof. So, like, anything you hear about HLG, man, doesn't mean that their fixtures are bad. It's just because the sales rep was a goof at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've never had issue. I mean, they've always, I get on the phone with them. They'll sit and talk to me for an hour. Like that, those dudes have really helped me out a lot, to be honest. With my questions, especially on their lights, like, I don't know if anybody has issues with their customer service. I don't know, because I literally will call them up, or was when I was trying to figure out lighting and like all the that dude. They would sit on the phone with me like as long as I needed to, like until I really understood what they were trying, and they were great. So
nice. That's good. Yeah, like I said, like it's for all I know, these are trolls on Instagram that are, working for other people's companies that are bot accounts going out there to do that. And like Instagram now, not to go down the Instagram rabbit hole, but Instagram now like puts in comments that are more geared towards what you would like. Like if you, for instance, like if you go and look at the same post and your wife goes look at the same post, the comments that you see and the comments that she sees are different, right? So like you can never, like you gotta have your eyes open on all levels, including little things like a lighting fixture, right? Because Instagram is such a shit show of trashing each other.
Yeah, it's
all
wild,
levels,
bro.
right?
It's just, it blows, and it's like, bro, there's certain people out there that like people fucking kiss their ass, and I like know, and I'm like, yo, like that's a weird. Like you're kissing somebody's ass that is the biggest piece of shit there is, and y'all, it's just wild to me. I'm not, there's like certain people I love to call out, but I won't do it. But I'm like, if you only knew, it just it's just, I don't know, bro. Instagram is a weird place. It just is.
It's getting weirder, man. And with all the AI coming in now and like automated this and automated that, it's harder to really like see through the bullshit, right? So even with little seemingly insignificant things like who's saying what about a lighting fixture or about a lighting fixture company, really like take your time and do some research outside of Instagram and don't trust what you see, because there's a very good chance that half of it's bullshit.
Yeah.
So it's wild, man. But anyways, yeah, man. Like we would love to. Again, we're doing the after I'm done with this run, we're doing an auto grow off. So if anybody wants to get involved in that, man, we'd love to have a really big turnout for this. We had almost 25 growers doing the pink grapefruit grow off with us. We did 2 separate teams. We had captains. We had like themes for each week, kind of thing. It was really fun. We had a lot of enthusiasm. Not everybody made it to the finish line, but that's just the way it goes with a grow. Like you don't always have good results. But we're going to choose something from their line that is released, that is tried, tested, and true, that we know is going to give really consistent results and have the best chances to involve the most people and have the most people, you know, finish it and make it to that final harvest and be able to participate in the whole thing and have a chance to win the prizes and everything like that, right? Because on this last grow up, we actually had, like I said, we had the grand prize was the whole entire 24 genetic lineup from Atlas. It was like 42 packs of seeds. They're all autos and feminized seeds. And then we had a Pulse Pro, which is the monitor right here from Pulse. Is also part of the grand prize. And, you know, like it's no fucking around. Like it's good prizes, man. Like it's a good event to go into, and it's a good chance to run some good genetics, right? So we're going to do another one as soon as I'm done this run of the autos, and it's going to be with, I won't say yet because we still got to firm things up, however, but it's going to be with someone who's really well known on Instagram, who has like 50,000 followers. He's got a farm out in Oregon. He's a really good dude, really good grower. He's a really good organic grower, and he's just a good steward of the plant. He's kind of like Luna, where he's got a really good depth of knowledge, and he shares it willingly and openly. And he's
Wait, who was it again?
I'm not gonna say the name yet, just because it's someone. Like he said yes, but it's not necessarily like ready to announce yet, kind of thing. So, but he's a solid dude, man. He was actually a judge in the Auto Flower Cup. So he's a big advocate of autos. He's a big advocate of organic growing, and again, he's a depth of knowledge. He freely shares his wealth of knowledge with the community, and he just wants everybody to grow good medicine. So it's really exciting to see people like that want to get behind good genetics like this and say, hey, yeah, like absolutely, let's give this exposure that it deserves, because the more people who can rely on their genetics, the better off your experience is, the better off your medicine is. It's just a good thing, right? So that's what we're all about, is to just kind of give everybody the best bang for their buck and make sure that you have a good experience with the grow.
Yeah, that's what
you don't want to, because there's so many guys out there. Then like I've actually just seen so recently like this massive like influx of these herms from this one breeder, where it's just like, dude, like what happened? You know what I mean? Like I know shit happens, but like what happened, man? So like it's really nice to see guys that are really putting in that work and growing shit at scale, and making sure that before they release it to anybody, like they'll put their livelihood behind it. You know what I mean? So like it's good, man. I'm proud to grow these genetics and say like these are my boys, right? So it's good, man. So we're really happy to get the exposure through your channel here, and obviously I want to get these genetics into your seed bank. I really think you'll have a good result with all your customers. And the one thing I love about Atlas, when things did go a little bit awry in the grow off, we did have a couple of herms at flower time. These guys went and sent everybody in the grow off, whether they had issues with herms or not. And this is over and above the grand prize donation, all that kind of shit. They sent everybody in the grow off 3 packs of seeds plus a t-shirt, just to say like, shit, man, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like have some more fucking genetics on us, kind of thing, right? So like, super solid dudes, man. Like super solid.
So where can I feel like we have about 6 minutes left. So
yeah,
where can they go? If anybody wants to be involved in the grow off, how can they enter? How could they be? How could they be?
Yes. So it's still early stages. Like I'm just about to flip here, so I got another little bit until I'm ready to go. So like it's gonna be a bit of promotional time building up to it. So like it's gonna be roughly November that we're gonna be starting it up. What I did on my last one, I just made a series of posts with a sign-up sheet through just like an online sign-up form that you can just click on, sign up, submit your email. Everything just comes to me. I'm not selling anybody's information or shit like that. Anybody that wants to be in it, as long as you qualify and you're in the right area, it's going to be a North American, open to North American residents. So like if you're in Europe, unfortunately you won't qualify, but anybody in North America with a tent or a fucking greenhouse or whatever you want to do, man, grow it in the closet, grow it in your living room. It won't matter because it's an auto. You know, get involved in it, right? So when the time comes, you'll hopefully see the posts. Whoever is involved in it with me will be posting it as well. So it'll be mostly like through word of mouth on Instagram and just that exposure. But I would love to take it to other channels like you're doing. It's amazing to kind of like reach out to these other outlets and, you know, tap into what other people are doing, because not everybody wants to be on IG anymore. IG is a pretty sick place these days. So it's a hard place to exist, especially for someone like you, a creator that's relying on it for, you know, your income too, right? So it's very important to be able to have these connections and have these outlets to be able to further your reach into the community. So we'd be looking to, you know, do that as well. You know, maybe do like a grow diaries along with the grow off, you know, live updates, weekly updates through YouTube and Twitch and the whole deal as well. So super exciting, man. Like I said, I'm super excited to be associated with these guys and push these kind of events, because yeah, it brings my page a little bit more exposure and whatever, and I'm slowly growing my page. But like at the same time, I'm all about just getting good genetics out there to people who don't have it, right? So like I'm in Canada. If you ever need Atlas genetics, I have a huge stock here in Canada that I you know, kind of reach out to the local people here in Ontario and other places in Canada that necessarily don't want to go through the whole exchange rate of the States, the risk of shipping through USPS because it doesn't always make it through customs, all those things. So like I try and bring in stocks to Canada so there's access up here, and then anybody in the States, you can just go on Atlas's website, atlasseeds.ca or .com, I should say, and just order through there. And then as far as you and I goes, you know, you can absolutely work with me. You can go through the Atlas site yourself, set up a wholesale account. Anybody can set up a wholesale account for that matter. You know what I mean? You can go on there and say, hey, I'm a seed bank from Oregon, from fucking, you know, BC, wherever you want to be, and just set up a wholesale account, get approval from them, and, you know, start reaping the benefits of those savings yourself. So it's super available. They got good genetics, and they have, because they grow at such scale, they have good stock too, right? So it's not like you go on their site and you see like half the selections are sold out, which does happen quite a bit, man. So you know, it's good to see breeders really making good genetics available to the community like this. It's awesome.
All right. Well, if you're in Canada, make sure you hit him up. Make sure you guys give him a follow. If you're not following him already, that's his screen name on Instagram. Real simple. Yeah, I think the questions are pretty much done. I think we got we pretty much have 2 minutes left right now.
Yeah,
I appreciate you for coming on, bro. Always good conversation.
for sure.
Maybe we do another live just on Instagram, because I know these cameras, when we do it like this, we can't really move too much, and we could actually, you know, we could re-show the room and all that. You know, I mean, I could see fine, but you know, I think, you know, I think it's, I think you killed it in there.
Yeah,
so,
for all the like the, you know, data heads and stuff like that, it's really cool to see the whole workings of the control room and the grow room itself. And I'll even run a watering cycle for you guys so you can see the whole drain to waste thing. There's a whole floor drain here with a Schluter system and all that kind of thing, right? So yeah, let's do another one. Like I said, I'm about to flip them now. So if you want to go in like 4 or 5 weeks when everything starts to bulk up and frost up nicely, it'll be a nice time to see how the Atlas genetics are doing, and then I can kind of show a bit more detail about the room.
Hey, did you ever find the pink pheno?
You know what? The winner of the grow off did, man. He had the hot pink pheno, man. I don't
really?
Know I don't know if he kept it. I don't know if he re-vegged it or what, man. But check him out, man. It's Mad May. It's for the love of trees, and he's still got reels up, man. I'll send you. I'll tag you on the reel or something. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, dude, I want to see that. I want to see that for sure.
It's hot pink as hot pink gets, man. Like it's highlighter hot pink, bro. It's crazy, bro.
That's cool. I want to see it.
I don't know how they got to express indoors, but it's there, man. So I didn't believe the hype until I saw it, but it's there. So I appreciate you, brother. I hope you have a great night, and I'd love to do it again with you in 4 weeks.
Absolutely, bro. I appreciate you, man. Everybody, thank you guys for hanging out for the last 3 hours. I think we're just we're at 10 o'clock right now. So
amazing, man.
Everybody stay safe. Much love. You know, for you guys on Instagram or Facebook, go to the YouTube, subscribe, go like that shit, and watch it again. So I guess that's about it, man. I'm gonna see y'all Saturday night. Skinnaman, I will see you. We'll talk soon anyway.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate everybody that came on tonight. Luna, Green Bodhi, and that's pretty much it, man. So thank you. Everybody have a good night, and I'll see you guys very soon.
Respect, brother.
All right, brother. Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good night, man. I appreciate everybody for hanging out, like I just said. And I will see you guys Saturday night. Saturday night. You might see me Friday on Instagram. We will see. Peace. Good night.